This is ABC Sports, home of the Bowl Championship Series.
Decision 2000. Florida is deciding the fate of the U.S. presidency. Tonight, something even more important. This contest is not for politicians, lawyers, or hanging chads. Welcome to Florida versus Florida State. If it's speed you love, pull up a chair. These Gators and Noles leave only vapor trails behind. There's the quick and the quicker. If you worship power, listen up. As for intensity, nothing beats Bobby Bowden versus Steve Spurrier. And Chris Weinke against Alex Brown. Sometimes this bitter rivalry even explodes before the kickoff. There'll be no recounts tonight. Moments ago, here come the Seminoles. Led by their 71-year-old head coach, Bobby Bowden. And so here tonight on a chilly northern Florida evening, the Florida State Seminoles host their rivals from Gainesville, the Florida Gators, the BCS Dandies. Oklahoma has won. Miami is winning. Washington is winning. And here now it's Florida State against Florida. Good evening and welcome everybody. First, a couple of stories. We get a break from the weatherman. They've been saying all day, rain, rain, rain. Now they're saying it'll stay away while we play this game. Chris Weinke, he had to go visit a doctor yesterday. He was taken ill with apparently the flu. Let's get an update on that story. We send you to our colleague, Jack Arute. Jack?
Well, Brent, about 10 a.m., he couldn't hold down any solid food, so Chris Weinke went to one of the FSU physicians, Dr. Chris Stowers, and Chris Stowers took Weinke home to his own house to keep him isolated from the rest of the Seminole team and feed him intravenous fluids throughout the evening. Now, I talked to Chris a couple of minutes ago. He said, I feel much better. In fact, I had a turkey sandwich. But he did say that there was one blessing about this 8 p.m. start. He said at noontime, the traditional start, I don't think I could have started.
All right, Jack, thank you. We welcome our colleague, Gary Danielson, upstairs. Gary, there's a Florida quarterback scenario. Two fellas are apparently going to play for Coach Steve Spurrier tonight. The senior, Jesse Palmer, and the redshirt freshman, Rex Grossman. His plan.
Well, Brent, when you look at both these guys, the layman thinks they're the same, but Steve Spurrier sees a little difference in his two quarterbacks, and Steve Spurrier trusts himself. He's going to trust his gut instincts on this. He's going to let it happen throughout the game, and he does a pretty good job with his instincts, I think. When you look at these two teams, obviously they're going to throw the ball, but they do it differently. Florida, beautiful patterns, nice routes like a basketball team running a backdoor pass. Florida State and Chris Weinke, they like to isolate, and they like to throw the ball and attack. But I think the difference in the game is which offensive line protects their quarterback.
Okay, right now, one of the great senior classes being introduced, led by 28-year-old Chris Weinke, a 3-year starter for Coach Bowden. Coming up, it's Florida and Florida State. Chris Weinke with his mom, Betty, and being greeted there with his father, Ron, introduced for the last time, and now one of the great traditions. Chief Osceola plants the spear and then gets back on Renegade to trot off the field, and we are ready for another Florida State home game here in Tallahassee. The Noles won the toss, and they've elected to defer. So we will see the speed man back there, Bo Carroll, number 2, along with Lito Shepard, number 3, for the Gators. Matt Munyon will handle the kickoff chores here tonight for the Noles, and we are underway in Tallahassee against the breeze. Big hop to the speed of Shepard. Scrambles back to his feet and down at about the 24-yard line. So coming out to take the first snap is the redshirt freshman Rex Grossman, and that's because Steve Spurrier said he's a little superstitious. And beyond the numbers, he lives 2.5 miles from the Indiana campus in Bloomington. Dad, the Hoosiers ophthalmologist, and the family is friends of Bobby Knight up there and have been for a long time. So Rex Grossman takes the first snap, and who knows after that. And Gillespie is pounded in the back field by that Nole defensive front. Jeff Womble, number 91, gets there first. On a 3-yard loss, second down at 13. So after the first snap is taken by Grossman, here comes Jesse Palmer, the senior from Canada.
I think the plan for Steve is he'd like to see more of Jesse Palmer if he can do the job.
3 wide receivers for Florida off to the left, and they come back running again with Gillespie. Gillespie in a foot race, and he is brought down at the 22-yard line by Chris Hope, the Chili's starting lineup. So already we have seen Messrs. Grossman and Palmer here tonight. Gaffney with 13 touchdowns. The freshman Jabbar Gaffney, number 10. Keep an eye on him. That's a freshman NCAA record. The offensive line, and the man to watch is Pearson, number 71. He has to battle Jamal Reynolds throughout much of the evening as they come up now with a 3rd and 13. That split back look for Spurrier's Gators, and Palmer pulls it back. Gets great time, takes it downfield, incomplete. One of the defensive backs fell. Gaffney, the intended receiver, and the ball sailed over number 10's head, and it's 3 and out for Florida.
3 and out, but one piece of good news for Florida. Good pass protection on the first throw. Jesse Palmer, though, threw right into the teeth of the coverage.
Here is Alan Ryan. Gator fans, remember what happened last week against South Carolina. 2 punts blocked for touchdowns in that opening quarter. Then he faked one. Led to a Gator touchdown, and there's a penalty flag just prior to the snap, and the referee dashes out.
Florida flinched up front. They're going to go back 5 more yards here.
So an SEC officiating crew.
False start on the offense. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
And next year they will go to the ACC officials as the Noles are back with Cleveland Thomas, their corner, set to return this punt and give Chris Weinke outstanding field position with their first series of the game. From behind, Ryan snaps off to the left, and he drives Thomas back to the 29-yard line. Cuts hard to the right for an alley. There's a penalty flag. A flag is thrown on this return. An illegal block in the back, probably on that far side, will nullify the 23-yard return by Thomas.
Yeah, Kendall Pope, number 9, got one right in the back. You're right, Brent. That's a big punt for Florida to get it out, get it off, and get it deep like that.
During the return, illegal block in the back on the receiving team. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. It'll be 1st down.
So Chris Weinke, 28 years old, and he's older than half the NFL's starting quarterback. 6 years the Toronto Baseball Organization, captain of his high school hockey team.
He might be better than half the NFL quarterbacks.
He's thrown for 30 touchdowns this year, 76 overall. He holds just about every Florida State passing record imaginable. His last home game here in Tallahassee, the basic I formation. They want to study Travis Minor. Weinke will throw it low on the first pass of the game, and it is complete at the 28-yard line on 1st down. Our Chili starting lineup for the Noles, and you can see that Chad Mater, number 39, will be used at fullback in front of Minor, and Snoop Minnis, number 13, the go-to receiver. And here's your offensive line. Your key matchup is Brett Williams, number 72, working against number 13, Alex Brown of the Gators. Chris, with that sore left foot, prefers to operate back in the shotgun. Inside handoff, Minor, and Minor is hauled down from behind by Marcus Okindo Johnson. And we have another flag here thrown early, and I would guess, Gary, that we probably got some jitters out here on both sides.
Both teams, it's going to be on the offense again this time, and both offenses seem to be getting off a little shaky in this game.
During the run, 5-yard face mask on the defense, 5-yard penalty. It will be a 1st down.
So our Chili's defense And Gerard Warren, number 61, with that great inside push. And Alex Brown, number 13, outside. Travis Carroll, the transfer from Alabama, the middle linebacker for the Gators. Speed at the corners, but they're a little short. Lito Shepherd and Robert Cromartie are going to have to attack the ball hard on the outside for Steve Spurrier here tonight. So on first down, it's Minor again to the 40-yard line. And he is brought down by Byron Hardman.
Well, what's going to determine this game, Brent? Let's go inside. We're going to call it final decision. Here's your ballot right here. It's going to be the pass rush of the front four. At home, you can keep score, check off one or the other. I'm not going to tell you which way I'm going right now. I'm kind of absentee ballot right here. Special teams plays and turnovers. And Brent, you're from Palm Beach. What do we do with this thing here? You're going to be able to handle this?
We counted about 4 times. That's what we do down here. Second down and 5. And Winky snaps it off, has the first down, and that is his fine young receiver, Anquan Bolden, extending for the first down. So number 4, who figures greatly in the game plan here tonight, extends for the first down.
You can see this time Florida State cracks up in the I formation, going to show Florida that they are going to throw the short pass out of different formations, not just shotgun. They're going to pass out of running formations and run out of pass formations.
Bolden works to the slot to Winky's right on first down. Winky looks to the outside, and it is Bolden again. Short of the Gators' 45-yard line. Manuel, number 4, making the stop. And folks, number 4, Anquan Bolden of Florida State, is only a sophomore. He was a quarterback down at Pahokee in the southern part of this state. Peter Warwick tutored Bolden last year, took him under his wing, and this is a young man who can do it all. 3 for 20 yards already here tonight, and now it is second down and 2 yards to go for the Noles. Winky pulls out from under center, has another first down. Puts it in Snoop Minnis' hands, and you can hear the crowd chanting Snoop for 10 yards.
A lot of quick passes. Get Chris Winky in rhythm. And also, here's a great matchup. Alex Brown and Brett Williams, right tackle against defensive end. Watch Williams. Gets to him quick, establishing early that you're not going to have a free run at my quarterback.
A lot of quarterbacks should take whatever was in Winky's IV. He's perfect so far. Play fake, coming back, going for it. Incomplete. Misses for the first time here tonight. It was sent on Atrus Bell deep.
Atrus Bell was matched up against Lito Shepherd that time, and Winky on a timing pass. He's setting the tempo of this game. Florida State is throwing on rhythm, and they're going to throw the ball short, and if you move up, they're going to get you deep.
Trying to get one here on their 12th opening drive. That's key for Mark Richt, the offensive coordinator, calling the plays upstairs. Second down and 10. The experience of Winky. Play fake. Gets time. And I believe that's Snoop Minnis at the 12-yard line for a first down. Florida State, 23 more yards.
Great thing about Florida State passing game is when you're in this offense, you face in practice a lot of man-to-man coverage. Here you see the soft man-to-man this time to the outside. Benny Alexander giving a little bit too much room to Snoop, and Chris Winky throws a low ball and just allows his receiver one-on-one, almost like a post-up in basketball. Throw it to it, you get it.
One of Bowden's favorite formations. 2 tight ends. Power high and a penalty flag on the snap. Going to go against the Noles. This penalty will be against Florida State.
Dead ball. False start on the offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Let's take a good look here at the Dell Game Solutions for Florida State. Affectionately protect the old man. Trust the outcome from there. And if you're Florida, you're going to have to get in Chris Winky's face, force him to throw off that back foot, and don't panic. Florida State's going to move the ball 10 straight games. They'd have had over 500 yards in total offense.
Snoop Minnis is the only wide receiver in this formation as he re-enters the game with the play. He's off to Winky's left. Fake toss, and Winky wants him. Looks back for Snoop. Picked on, no, dropped at the 4-yard line. Benny Alexander Alexander, who intercepted Winky last year and scored in Gainesville, had nothing but wide open field that he picked this pass off.
Yeah, Snoop Minnis thought he had him wide open, did not really realize that Benny Alexander was that close. And you'll see Minnis kind of back up on the throw. He thought he had an easy one there, and Alexander could have taken it the distance.
Second down and 15, and Atrus Bell dashes in with the play. So there'll be 2 wideouts now. And Bolden back in gives him 3 with 2 stacked off to the left here on second down. And a timeout. Minnis wants a timeout. Snoop Minnis, getting the linesman's attention, calls timeout Florida State. And in 1994, Florida State battled back by scoring 28 points in the 4th quarter to tie Florida. There's only blemish on that unbeaten game streak here. As the Noles come up second down and 15. See the 3 wideouts. Mater, the fullback, is in to block. Miner, an excellent receiver, helps pick up Winky to the middle. Touchdown! Florida State strikes first. 17 yards to Atrus Bell.
Did Atrus Bell go get that? This guy just scores touchdowns. Throw him the ball. On the outside, Alex Brown is going to come from the outside, the right side of your screen, but Winky gets rid of it. And watch Bell go get it, swing across, and the ball lands on the ground. Great call by the official.
But Cimarelli adds the extra point after the Bell touchdown. And don't forget, Florida had a shot at a turnover. Before this touchdown pass, they could have come up with a pick. As Atrus Bell makes a quick move. Touchdown, Noles. Timeout. With the Bowl Championship Series, Atrus Bell, one of the outstanding wide receivers from Jacksonville, Florida, with 10 touchdown catches on the season. The Gators now will use Carroll and Ratliff back deep. They want it in Carroll's hands. Down at the 26-yard line. And our Chili's Florida State defense looks this way. And have they ever turned out great defensive linemen? Keep an eye on number 58, Jamal Reynolds, 12 sacks. Allen is so good, so quick, he stays right in the nickel package. He can run with a wide out. Tay Cody, number 27, having his best year, 4 interceptions already this season. So 1st and 10 for Florida, and the senior Jesse Palmer stays in the game with the Gators down by 7.
Holding on the kickoff return by Florida.
Now one of those inconspicuous flags.
That's right. They tossed it in there, right in the middle of the pile.
And then I think they stepped on it. Couldn't see it. So it is brought back to the 16-yard line, 1st down, and Jesse Palmer gets time, throws high. Caldwell, the intended receiver, 2nd down and 10, and Palmer, you could see from his pointing there, Gary wanted his receiver to break it a different way, and here's the young man who grew up in Canada, but folks, he can't skate. Brother Billy, a Notre Dame tight end, and Father Bill, who now lives with his mom down in Orlando. Well, he was a linebacker in the CFL for 5 years. So here's Jesse James Palmer.
Are we stereotyping there, Brent, just a bit?
2nd down. Straight back. And it is complete to Taylor Jacobs.
Oh, that's going to be 15 yards at the end of that play. I think Chris Hope, number 28, came in very late for a late hit. A nothing pass on the play.
Dead ball, personal foul, late hit on the defense, 15 yards. Automatic first down.
Let's take a look at the Dell Game Solutions for Florida when they have the ball. You've got to make big plays against the bump and run against Florida State. That's the only way to beat them. And to do that, you must be precise in your route running and your throwing. And if you're Florida State, turn air Spurrier into error Spurrier. Sacks, penalties, turnovers. That's how Bobby Bowden can stop this Florida offense.
So for Spurrier, Rand Carthon, Maurice Carthon's son, in the game. They fumble a snap, but there is a whistle. The linesman waving it off through a flag. A fumble on the snap. So a lot of miscues. Sloppy the way this one is starting here tonight.
Dead ball. False start on the offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
We have 7 total penalties already in this game. Cannot be happy. The old ball coach over there. He wants some better play than this. First down and 15. Complete to Gaffney. ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by Chevrolet. If only everything was as dependable as a Chevy, Chevy will be there. Sprint PCS, the clear alternative to cellular. Bud Light, the greatest taste that won't fill you up and never let you down. Make it a Bud Light. And National Car Rental. So what are you waiting for? Let's go. Florida State 7, Florida nothing. They're in the opening quarter. Second down and 4 for the Gators. First down Gillespie, as the end around was at least shown, and now we'll have to depend on the spot. And now there's a late flag comes flying again. We got another penalty flag, and that one came very late.
Well, I think it's going to be blocking downfield by Rashay Caldwell. Another late hit in the second. I wonder if it's going to be on both of them, though. Oftentimes that's what happens. You can feel the intensity of the fans, but it's not supposed to go to the 2 teams on the field. And since they're doing the measurement, Brent, I would assume it's on Florida.
Yes, it is.
An opportunity for Florida to pick up a first down they badly need. Florida State has to take this penalty.
Here it is. It was Caldwell on the outside.
Yeah, well, you saw right at the end. Well, you could see that could have been called both ways.
Well, again, we go back to the cliche. You see the second blow, and
that
that's
could have
what
been.
Caldwell and Cleavon Thomas were pushing and shoving down.
There was a dead ball, personal foul.
I really think that could have been called both ways on both guys. Both guys were throwing their arms, but you're right. You got to tell your ball players they're probably only going to see the second one. You have to have discipline, especially to beat this great defense of Florida State.
Here's a 3rd and 15 for Spurrier and the Gators. Gaffney, Caldwell, Jacobs are all off to the right. Offensive line holds, and he's got it. First down as they cross midfield. He puts it in Aaron Walker's hands. They slip the tight end out. Very much a part of Spurrier's game plan here tonight. There is 21 yards they threw away from the wideout.
Most important thing, watch this area right here, right in front of the quarterback. You said it. Plenty of time for the quarterback. Look at that pocket. If you give Jesse Palmer, as he looks off to his left, does a beautiful job, but look at that space for him to step up and throw the ball. That's the story of the game. Not 3 yards in a cloud of dust, but 3 yards in front of the quarterback.
Mike Pearson, the left tackle, number 71, did a tremendous job on the outside rush. More time again. Sideline juggle. Great catch inside the 20-yard line. And there's the young man for 29 yards, number 10, Javar Gaffney. This
is a Florida State type play. Man to man, he's covered. You've got to defeat this bump and run for Florida State. A little out shake, but he's covered. Throw the ball up, and look at that catch. That is an amazing play by Gaffney, just going up and turning something, making the play to move the ball. Beautiful play. Guy's just a freshman, just a redshirt freshman. What a future.
First down and 10 for Jabbar Gaffney, who is quite a story. The 5th Gaffney to play for the Gators. First and 10. They've got the flare. And it's Graham. Florida State scores first here in Tallahassee before a capacity crowd of 80,000 plus. Jack Arute and Gary Danielson. I'm Brad Musburger. Nice to have you along with us. And tonight we have seen Snoop Minnis, and Benny Alexander could not make the pick, and as a result, a second chance. Truce Bell for the touchdown. But Florida had a chance for the interception. Now it is second down and 4 for Palmer and the Gators. They're inside the Noles 15-yard line. Graham's the running back. Gaffney and Caldwell are tight to the right as the wideouts. They flare a pump fake to him now. Come back to the right side. To the 6-yard line. It's first and goal. And again, the tight end, Kirk Wells.
Kirk Wells got the ball. It was a beautiful job by the quarterback, Jesse Palmer. Let's take a look at the scouting report on these two guys. Jesse Palmer, Rex Grossman. Jesse is mentally tough. He's been through it. He's got the bigger arm. Rex is more of a quick shooter, and he's been there against Tennessee. He's played against Florida State. Rex, he's still learning, still getting there.
On this first and goal, they will line Gaffney up in the backfield, and then he'll switch out to a slot on the left side. Graham is the running back, and here comes Graham to the 5-yard line, and it'll be second down and goal as he picks up a couple of yards. Well, the one thing, Gary, that I saw over in Gainesville when I dropped by to watch Spurrier was at practice he wanted to use the tight ends in the game plan. He feels that working in underneath against that great athletic ability, and already he's gone twice to his tight ends here tonight. Second down from the 6-yard line now. Palmer, quick strike, no. Too far out in front of Caldwell. Cody, the defensive back, on him.
Look at this pattern by Steve Spurrier. This guy goes back to draw the defender, and then you get the slant behind it. Working together as a team, the precision of the Florida offense. That's how you use one guy, help the other guy. That's what Steve Spurrier says. Let's just play a little ball out here.
Exactly. Third down, Gary, and Jacobs brings in the ball coach's play. A timeout has been called here. Florida State will talk about it defensively. We'll take a break. And to 5 different receivers. Gaffney is the only receiver who has caught 2 passes in this drive. Here's third and goal for Florida. Trailing it by 7. 3 wides are off to Palmer's left. Looks to the right, comes back, middle touchdown, wide open, the tight end Walker. All alone for the touchdown, and now an extra point away from a tie.
Brilliant read. You're bringing out the back, and you're working off the linebacker. You're working off this linebacker right here. Watch the back come out, the tight end go to the back of the end zone right here. You read the linebacker, whichever one Bradley Jennings bites on, throw to the next guy. Beautiful read, beautiful play.
Jeff Chandler and a whistle before the snap. And Jeff Chandler is quite a story. You know, he's the all-time scoring leader at Florida. At number 49, was granted an extra year by the NCAA this week.
That seems reasonable, doesn't it? Yeah. 1 kick as a freshman as a walk-on. It seems like you should get an extra year.
You'll break every scoring record imaginable.
Dead ball. Offsides by the defense. Contact. We'll repeat the try.
What a huge answer by Florida. And Gaffney and Jesse Palmer were brilliant, and our offensive line kept the pocket clean for Jesse Palmer.
Chandler, too, is from Jacksonville. It's a walk-on, and with this extra point, The Gators have tied it up against the Seminoles here as they march 84 yards, 11 plays behind the senior, Jesse Palmer. This the touchdown pass. A beautiful look to the right and a perfect spiral to the tight end in the middle. Timeout. And the kickoff into the end zone. Anquan Boldin takes a knee and it comes out on the 20-yard line. Well, Monday night, it's a must-win situation for the Washington Redskins when they face the St. Louis Rams on Monday Night Football. Coming up live at 9 Eastern. That should be a dandy. And then on Sunday night on ESPN at 8:30 Eastern, the Jaguars face the Steelers. That on ESPN. So Sunday, Monday, pretty good lineup. Trent Green doing a pretty good job for the Rams. Kurt Warner out. Warner due back here one of these weeks. So the fellas will have that story for you on Monday night. First down and 10 now for the Noles. Chris Weinke up under center, and they're going to try to get Travis Minor into the game and check that injured ankle. And he's swatted at the 23-yard line. Big Clint Mitchell, number 94, was there defensively.
Well, ever since this Florida defense was ravaged by Mississippi State for over 500 yards, they seem to have found themselves and found some confidence. They would really like to get a stop here in this game. If Chris Weinke can move the chains again and put points on the board, the momentum in this game will definitely be with Florida State.
Second down and 6. Weinke off a play fake has all day. And now in a foot race is Truce Bell. Out of bounds inside the 35-yard line. A 42-yard pass. Weinke to Bell, who has already scored the Noles touchdown.
Very simple play. Play action pass. You're going to bring the guy right in the middle of the zone, right in between the hash marks. We always talk about it, Brent. If you're going to throw the football, you have to throw the ball in the middle of the field. And that is the middle of the field right there to catch the ball. That's when you really make it go if you have a passing offense.
So far, the Florida defense hasn't been able to touch Weinke. And they don't again. Wide open, Snoop Minnis. 34-yard touchdown. And Weinke puts up another 6.
Oh, yeah. No doubt on this play, Benny Alexander thought it was going to be a curl play. He squatted, and Minnis never broke stride past him, nor catching the ball. A perfect throw.
Cimolelli nails the extra point. Not much rest for the Florida State defense. A lightning strike from Chris Weinke and the Florida State offense. Timeout. 146 yards tonight. He passes Duke's Ben Bennett. He's now the ACC's all-time leading passer, and he has 2 touchdown passes tonight.
And Ben Bennett was coached by Steve Spurrier at Duke when he set those records.
Ratliff and Carroll back deep for the Gators. Munyon ready with the kickoff. Comes Carroll from the 10. Down at the 22-yard line. So Florida's last drive, Jesse Palmer drove them down because of that great juggling catch by Jabbar Gaffney, and then it was Walker, the tight end. So now Palmer and the Gators come right in. The shootout is underway. 3 wide for the Gators on first down. Gillespie checking with his quarterback. Play fake, foot race in trouble. Sacked at the 15-yard line. And we asked Jesse Palmer what he's going to try to accomplish early.
We need to definitely just set the tempo. We need to get out there, get going, take care of the football, not turn it over, score fast, and score often.
Score often is going to be the war cry, but it's hard to do when you're buried under 3 Knowles like he was just moments ago with Darnell Dockett in there and David Warren in on top of him, and 2nd down and 16. Hammer fires. Gaffney's got his 3rd catch of the night, and this young man on fire again. 14 more yards, and we check in with Jackaroo. Jack.
Brent, you've been talking about Jabar Gaffney, the wide receiver. When he was a young kid, his uncles and his dad used to take him to his grandma's house, make him stand behind a big weeping willow tree where he couldn't see the ball as it whistled through. He'd have to hear it and catch it. Once he got that down, they made him turn around and catch it backwards.
That was something. His daddy was a good one, too, Jack. Derek Gaffney. We got movement by a tight end down here on the right side. Going to cost the guy. That's a costly penalty. That was 3rd and 2. But Gaffney is the son of Derek Gaffney. Got himself.
Dead
let's
ball.
listen to the penalty
False
first.
start on the offense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
He does a lot of things. Here he is.
I did every night before I went to bed. Go in the room with the lights off and throw the ball up, close one eye, and throw the ball up, catch it one hand. Did that every night.
You still do it?
I do it periodically now. I don't do it like I used to do it. I try and do it 4 times a week.
He said he might do it before this game. That's how big it was. After the 5-yard penalty on 3rd and 7, Jesse is back, snaps it off, incomplete to Gillespie, the running back, and the Gators forced a punt.
Mickey Andrews has been using a lot of zone so far in this game. He got beat with the man coverage by Gaffney on the bump and run. And on long yardage situations now, it looks like Mickey Andrews is saying, Steve, I'm not going to let you know exactly what defense I'm running. I'm going to keep you guessing.
Old Alabama fella. Now, he'd make a pretty good coach for the Crimson Tide, huh?
Chuck Amato's doing a pretty good job from here, isn't he?
Bobby Bowden's already checked in with Bama on that. There's a nice high punt by Ryan. And a fair catch is made at the 25 by Cleveland Thomas, who is back. And a program reminder that tomorrow, on an all-new practice, Bobby must defend a man accused of the horrific crimes committed by his brother. Tomorrow at 10, 9 Central on ABC. Well, it took Florida State all of 3 plays and 1:52 to score with a run and a couple of passes. And now that Gator defense is back on the field again.
Jim Hope, defensive coordinator, says nobody's bumped to run the receivers for Florida State. So far, it isn't working too good.
From the gun. Gonna go long and incomplete. It is caught out of bounds by Alex Willis. And, you know, they're going deep and downfield on almost every play. And the 1st and 10 line tonight is being brought to you by Samsung. And the way they're going, I'm not so sure how often we're going to need that. I'll tell you that. As Javon Walker, let me check myself. I was looking at number 80 for the Gators. And, of course, that's Javon Walker for the Knowles, who made that catch out of bounds over here.
And where's Alex Brown? No story so far in this game.
2nd down and 10.
There he is.
Travis Minor, and on cue, the big fella steps up for you, Gary. Tell us about Alex Brown.
Well, he has to be able to get some help inside. He needs some push inside from Warren. Warren is a big-time player, but if Alex Brown gets some help inside from the defensive tackles, he will be able to put pressure on Chris Winkie. But you know what? He's got a tough battle. Brett Williams and Jerron Dorsey, 2 big-timers at offensive tackle for the Florida State team. This offensive line is very underrated for Florida State.
Here is 3rd down, the first 3rd down of the game for the Knowles. Protection holds for Winkie. Goes for Minor, the running back. Well covered, incomplete. And that was number 25, Robert Cromartie, on the running back who slipped out of the backfield. And so Florida State forced to punt. And Keith Cottrell, a good punter, senior from Orlando, averaging better than 41 yards a punt, trots onto the field.
A little lack of patience that time from Chris Winkie. Went to the deep ball twice, had the underneath passes, and could have moved the chains.
Dangerous Lito Shepherd, one of the best athletes to come out of the state here in the last couple of years. Somebody Florida State really wanted badly in the year, and Florida beat him. Lito got it at the 39 and nothing doing. Great special team coverage by Florida State so far. Well, it is time now for the Quest greatest moment. And it came last year in the 2000 Nokia Sugar Bowl. Florida State 46, Virginia Tech 29. Bobby Bowden hoisting the Sears Trophy, emblematic of that national championship, and he just dearly loved to get back to the FedEx Orange Bowl here and win back-to-back championships.
And last year, he did it wire to wire. This year, he's going to say, I'm not going to lobby. I just think those computers are going to have to make a decision. I'll just let it happen. We just need to win.
Now the Gators with the ball at the 39. Palmer strike for a first down, crosses midfield, puts it in Caldwell's hands for 14.
The precision of the passing game for Florida. That's what sometimes you see one guy come out, the other guy go down and hook, and the ball is delivered right on time. Watch this ball is thrown just as the receiver passes the safety. Boom, there it is. Look at that opening. That's passing 101. It doesn't have to be difficult if you do it well.
Caldwell is the motion man. It's Graham with a hole behind the left side of the offensive line. Thomas Moody is one of the blockers working on that side, and they blow open a hole for him up there. Thomas Moody, number 72. Now, there's quite a story, folks. I know Florida fans have seen, in fact, most of you have seen the highlight. He was playing offense, had a deflected pass. He caught it, and he just dove into the end zone for a touchdown last week against South Carolina as the final seconds tick away here. And another one of the Florida State battles. 3 touchdowns in our opening quarter. The Noles struck on 2 passes. They put the first one on the scoreboard. A Truce Bell from Chris Winkie. Then it was Jesse Palmer's turn, and he had his tight end Walker, and then Snoop Minnis all alone in the end zone. 14-7 time.
Brent, it's only fitting that even this series should have a political connotation to it. Governor Leroy Collins, back in the mid-50s, took the athletic directors from both Florida and Florida State, sat them down in a meeting and said, gentlemen, you will play a football game. They agreed, and he said, you'll do it as soon as possible. 1958 was the start of the series.
Try to get politicians in this state to agree on something today, my friend. Second down coming up as we start the second quarter. Jesse Palmer. And he misfires with Wells, his tight end. A little bit of a busted play down there. And Florida State finally getting some heat on him.
Actually, it was a little bit of a gimmick play that time. They tried to invite the rush and throw it out, but you see Florida offense in the second quarter. It's when Steve starts to get a feel for the game. I don't think there's a better, like they call it in basketball, bench coach than Steve Spurrier. He plays with his gut, coaches. He actually played with his kind of gut instincts, and he coaches the same way.
Third down and 6. Gaffney is on the short side. Cody has got him on this third down play. Cody shown man right there. You can see him at the bottom of your screen. And the clock winds down, and Spurrier on the other side was arguing with the penalty flag thrown. So we'll get this settled because Steve was barking over there on the far side, and Jesse let that clock run on down.
Dead ball, delay on the offense, 5-yard penalty, third down.
Strange.
Very strange, especially Florida has 3 timeouts left.
He's unhappy over there, and he was unhappy before they called it, and Jesse was watching him. They're trying to get clarification over there on that bench, but they're upset about this as that clock was winded down on them. You can see 7 penalties already on the Gators here tonight. So now they have made it a tough third down. Third down and 11 they need. They must reach Florida State's 37-yard line for a first down.
Yeah, huge difference.
The clock hasn't even gone back now to 25 seconds down there in the end zone. Because Jesse's looking at the clock right straight ahead. It is back up a little bit in that tunnel, in behind the goalpost that he's looking at. Well, you can see it stayed on 0-0. Now it goes to 25, and here we go.
Florida State's going to be in zone again.
They back off Gaffney. Palmer to the middle, intercepted. Cody picks off his 5th pass of the season for the Noles. Got an alley, and he's wrestled to the ground by Taylor Jacobs, the wide receiver. But Florida State with field position on a 35-yard return for Tay Cody.
From 3rd and 6 to 3rd and long, and Jesse Palmer tried to stick it in. He's going to throw the ball to the right side of your screen. You're going to see the defenders back up. They're playing a little combo coverage, but you can see the ball was thrown very, very poorly. To the outside, Cody was just a recipient of an interception. He was barely covering the guy on the play.
Randy Golightly is now the fullback alongside Winky. Travis Weiner, the tailback. You can see Manuel of the Gators inching over, and they got pressure on Winky. Intercepted, picked off by Alex Brown. Alex Brown across midfield with an interception, and a few words for the Noles sideline.
You put pressure on Chris Winky, he throws it off his back foot, and you get turnovers. The 35th turnover of the year. Alex Brown is going to drop out, and Chris Winky never sees it. The pressure comes from the opposite side, right up the gut, and you see it, just a lazy throw from Chris Winky, and Alex Brown gets the recipient of another interception.
Great pressure, Gary, by Travis Carroll, the youngster who transferred from Alabama, that middle linebacker. He brought the heat. Alex Brown did it, and now let's see if Jesse Palmer can sort things out offensively. That was an ugly series, that last one. Gillespie on the run, and was he drilled at midfield by Derek Gibson. One of the hardest hitting safeties in the nation, and he just stuck his helmet to him.
Well, when we talked to Mickey Andrews, he said if you're going to play the rover position for this defense, you have to be part linebacker, part safety, and Gibson is the guy.
Florida just unable to run a lick here tonight, Gary. 7 rushes for -2 yards against this Florida State front. So it is 2nd down and 12. Got Caldwell on the slant, and that's right at the 1st down marker. So here at Doak Campbell Stadium, the Bowden burial ground, if you will. 51 straight unbeaten, going back to 91. The Noles striking for 2 passes from Winky, 1 to Bell, and the 2nd to Snoop Minnis. But now Florida, which trails by 7 on the move against Bowden's Noles. Spurrier calling all the plays for the Gators. 3rd down and 1. Gillespie, I don't know if he got it. He was hit right at the line of scrimmage. Docket number 45 in on that stop for Florida State.
You're right. And when Florida, Brent, does not rush the ball well, they lose. 21 out of the 23 times they've been outrushed, they've lost games in recent history.
It's a 4th down coming up right now for Spurrier. And he's going to talk about it a little bit. Yeah, he hates to play field position. That's just not in his makeup. He does not want to punt, but he's thinking about it, folks. Timeout. I know he is. Folks, Gary wants to draw. We got a
here we go. There's the punter. There's the quarterback in the game. And I think what Steve's trying to do is keep Florida State from dropping anybody back.
It's a long one if they snap it to Palmer. Line waits near midfield. They're going to lateral it to him. So they try to freeze the Noles, drop it inside. Gaffney's down deep, tries to keep it out of the end zone. But it went in. He was standing back in the end zone. He had a crack at it if he had stayed between the end zone and the 5-yard line.
Brent, you know, I think the painted end zone confused Gaffney.
I agree with you. It's the white down there.
Right. The white is actually 2 yards into the end zone, and I think Gaffney thought he was on the regular playing field. He was actually, see the end zone line is the front line, and see the paint a little farther backward, and Gaffney went back in there.
I absolutely agree with you, because he was lurking back by that white, and he thought that was the goal line. So regardless, it's now Chris Weinke on the nose, and Bolden slips down and makes the catch at the 26-yard line. The Wonderful World of Disney gets the holidays off to a hilarious start. Leslie Nielsen stars in Santa Who tomorrow at 7, 6 Central on ABC. How'd you like to see that coming down your chimney?
That time of year again, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
I feel like it around here. Well, that's really the way to do it, though. Get Chris Weinke back in rhythm the way he started the game, throwing the short pass.
And 2nd down and 4. Fires to Bolden, and Bolden is out to the 45-yard line for a first down. 19-yard gain. We check in with John Saunders in New York. John.
Right here on the Burger King update, Miami against Syracuse. James Jackson, 33 yards on this touchdown run, grabbed a 23-0 lead. Miami knows with that game at Florida State that they must win big to stay number 2. Washington and Washington State, well, looks like Washington is headed to the Rose Bowl or perhaps elsewhere. Brent.
Yeah, elsewhere could be the Orange Bowl. If the right things unfold, they're still very much in the chase as Weinke to the middle. Menace makes a great catch at the 25-yard line. And you know, when Peter Warrick moved to the NFL, they said that the Seminoles lacked the go-to receiver. Well, how about Snoop Menace, number 13, standing up this year?
Yeah, he might not be the go-to receiver, but Mark Richt told us yesterday, and Brent, you kind of said it best, he attacks the ball. These receivers attack the ball when it's in the air, but when you get a throw like that on a skinny post, Chris Weinke did not put a lot of air under it. You can go get it knowing you're not going to get hit.
Yeah, Gary, they go airborne after a pass, and Florida was very aware of that this week. Weinke again to the pocket, fires, incomplete. Menace was working out beyond Ryan Sprague, and Weinke may have hurried that throw a little bit.
Brent, I think that's the play that Mark Richt told us bothers Chris Weinke the most. That play-action pass to his left with that bad ankle. When he plants on it, he plants on that ankle. See his right ankle plant, and when he turns around, he really doesn't feel comfortable. You see how many steps he took? That's why he really didn't make a good throw on the ball that time.
And then it sailed on him on top of it.
He's much more comfortable in back shot.
2nd and 10 as mouthpiece comes out. Toss play to Minor, trying to get the short side. Battles his way to the 21-yard line, and it'll be 3rd down. Gerard Warren making the play for the Gators, and so Snoop Menace is off to a big start here. 4 catches, 97 yards, and 1 touchdown for number 13. Young man out of Miami, so as you might expect, his favorite NFL team, the Dolphins. Most humbling moment, tripped over his own foot on the 1-yard line before scoring a TD in Pop Warner. Boy, he had dropped the touchdown pass since.
It stays with you a long time, huh? Must have had his grandmother there or somebody, huh?
He's a delight. 3rd down. Weinke fires and intercepted at the 11-yard line by Todd Johnson, the safety. Fumble. The Noles jump back in. They think they may have this. And Weinke is pushing and shoving going on down there. The tug of war is underway. You know what happens? Florida's ball. Florida regains control.
Jim Hoke, defensive coordinator for Florida, loves what he calls the robber defense. And this is what it is, John Hoke, excuse me, John Hoke. You see, it looks like too deep, and that's what Weinke sees. But at the snap, the 2 safeties switch spots, and the defenders play outside technique. And there's Johnson reading Weinke's eyes. Instead of having 2 deep safeties, Chris Weinke misreads it and doesn't read the robber defense. John Hoke, a beautiful call. Nice job by John Hoke, and they've got turnovers, and that's exactly what Florida needed in this game, turnovers to win it.
Graham, the running back. Palmer studies the right side. Throws underneath to Graham, the running back. Jennings makes the stop at the 22-yard line. Well, our Aflac trivia question, and folks, here's one for you. Who threw the longest touchdown pass in Florida Gators history? Been a lot of great quarterbacks. Been won a Heisman Trophy, but which one do you think threw the longest touchdown pass in Florida Gators history? Second down and 6. Here's Graham. And he's upended at the 25, and it'll be third down. So Todd Johnson with the second turnover of the game, and they just simply cannot move the ball running it.
In fact, Steve tried something different on that play to try to run it. That was a direct snap to Ernest Graham that time. Quarterback lined up as a wide receiver, and they tried something different to get that running game going.
Only 1 of 5 with those third down conversions here tonight. Under pressure, wide open Graham. The running back for the first down at the 41-yard line with Chris Hope. But it was a 17-yard gain on that play. And ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you Jeep Grand Cherokee with legendary off-road capability. Chili's Ranch Hand Filet, tender, juicy, flame grilled and served on a bed of awesome Blossom Springs. Ameritrade, it's how you get somewhere on Wall Street. And Dell. First down and 10 for the Gators. They're down 14-7, trying to mount a drive here with 8:46 to go. Stepped up in the middle, and it'll be second down and 10 as he gets back to Vermont, the original line of scrimmage with David Warren, big number 99. Check in with Jackaroo. Jack.
Well, Brett, you think Jesse Palmer's had a bad year? Everybody thought that Jesse Palmer would be the man in Florida, but that wasn't the same. That wasn't the same when Street and Smith's college preseason magazine came out. They highlighted Jesse Palmer. There was only one problem. That's Danny Werfel.
Get on the cover, and it's not even you. That's tough, isn't it?
Now Jesse's back. He'll flare out to the side again using Graham, and nothing doing. This is going to leave him in 3rd and 10. All of that speed along the line of scrimmage defensively for the Noles. It is amazing how quickly as you watch this team and what they did last year going wire to wire for a national championship. When you look back on it and you think about the night that Michael Vick had against this defense that night, because it's amazing when you see all of this speed as you look at the comparison of the two quarterbacks right now. So we come up to 3rd down and 10.
3rd and 10. McAndrews, Florida State, just 3-man rush.
Incomplete, and Taylor Jacobs had to turn around as the ball was coming in his direction.
3-man rush, but a decent pressure in the face of the quarterback that time. That's probably the worst job the Florida offensive line has done in the game so far. When you're trying to throw against that speed, 8 men back, you've got to have that offensive line keeping it clean in front of you.
Allen Ryan punting for the 4th time here tonight. And Nick Maddox in to return this punt. He has been a running back, a wide receiver, and this week a running back again because of the injuries suffered by the Noles last week. At the 20-yard line, here comes Maddox. 30. Wrestled down by Manuel at the 35-yard line. A fine 14-yard return for Maddox. Timeout.
One of the potential difference makers in this game, Alex Brown, rushing the passer, has received attention from 2 guys. And John Hoke does a nice job of switching it up, dropping him in coverage, and he gets an errant pass from Chris Winkie. Alex Brown, a guy you have to account for every snap on offense. Know where he is, and make sure you guys have at least a guy and a half on.
First down and 10 for Florida State, leading 14-7. Ball on their own 34, and Winkie hits Bolden again at the 45. First down Out of bounds across midfield for 16 more yards now for Bolden. All right, our question. Who threw the longest touchdown pass in Florida Gators history? It was not Steve Spurrier or Danny Wuerffel, folks. He came there as a quarterback. Chris Collinsworth. Back in 1977, 99 yards to Derek Gaffney, the father of Jabbar Gaffney, the freshman wide receiver this year. So a record you did not expect to find, but there it is. And Terry Bradshaw, no more picking on Chris. Come on. You never threw 199. First down and 10. Pump fake now by Winky. Sideline and out of bounds. Javon Walker working the sideline. Now, we've got visual evidence. Here comes Collinsworth as a freshman. Coming out of the Gators end zone, folks. Watch this. We got a nice gun. And how about a catch by Gaffney? 99 yards, and no one can ever break it. They can only tie it. It'll last forever. I asked Jabbar, I said, Jabbar, your pop ever remind you about that? He said, about once a week. I hear that he went 99 yards. Second down and 10 now.
Chris, a high school quarterback, switched to wide receiver.
Here's Winky from the shotgun on the slant. Complete again for a first down to Snoop Minnis.
Nice adjustment from Mark Richt, the offensive coordinator from Florida State. Instead of running the slant, you'll see Minnis come down and stop right on the hash so he doesn't get inside with that robber. He goes down, gets it, the ball's thrown right on the hash, and a little stop route. There you see the robber guy getting there late. That's a nice adjustment from Mark Richt.
And already Minnis has had a 100-yard day, Gary. 5 catches, 108 yards, and 1 touchdown for Minnis. First down and 10. Ball inside. The Gators' 40-yard line now. He back in that gun with 2 wide outs out to his right. Come deep once Minnis again. Almost intercepted. In fact, Minnis had to play defensive back that time on Benny Alexander.
Same defense that time. Marvin Minnis has been all over the field catching the ball. He goes and gets it. He's got the speed to go deep and adjusts so well to it, attacking the ball. But that time, Chris Winky got a little greedy again, trying to go deep on a ball that he really had no reason to do.
And he's had 2 picks this quarter. He's only 5 of 10, and he comes up to the line of scrimmage now on second down and 10. Blitz doesn't get there, and he just drops it off to his fullback that time. He put it into Chad Mater's hands for the first time here, and he crosses the 35-yard line. And a reminder that Monday night must-win situation for Washington when they face the St. Louis Rams. Deion Sanders and Bruce Smith. They'll be taking on Trent Green. Can Bruce get there? And can they stay up with these wideouts? Deion says, I'm not an old fella. Don't you be saying that. I'll be out there now with Isaac Bruce, Holt, and the rest of that gang. Marshall Falk, I think I heard today that he was going to play again. But third down and 5. Winky snaps it high and pull down first down. Walker, nice grab for the first down for the Noles. And you know, speaking of Winky going to the NFL, a rookie next year at the age of 28, I asked him playing in the NFL about his age, and here's what he had to say.
That'll be my selling point, that I'm ready to come in, learn the system, and take over. You know, I've played at the professional level before, although in a different sport. I know what it's all about. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to be successful at the next level.
You'll get a chance, Gary.
Yeah, I think he'll be a bargain with salary cap. He'll be cheap and he'll be ready to play very soon.
There he is on first down on a play-action pass. Incomplete, misfired that time. And Benny Alexander, number 30, with aggressive coverage over there.
Everybody looks at to look at the numbers of Chris Winky, but let's look beyond the numbers with this guy. The guy is a competitor. He fights every play. He's resilient. He's played over 3 years, taking hits, playing injured. Very composed. Has some of his best drives when his team is behind, and when he gets it going, he doesn't have it going real well right now. When he gets it going, though, he's like a surgeon out on the field.
Sprague, the tight end, breaks the huddle off to his right. That'll be the strong side of this formation. 2 running backs, 2 wides. Play fake, and Weinke with a deep drop. Receiver covered. Now throws back, and incomplete. Incomplete. He threw low. And Jaggerut, Chris Weinke, some story here.
At 28 years old, Brent, it's no surprise that his teammates call him Methuselah, Rip Van Winkle. He says, I don't really mind all of that. He says, I do get a little upset, though, when you're out filling a form with a teammate and you put down 1972 and the guy next to me is writing 1982.
True. I wish I could put down those numbers, I'll tell you. That third down and 10. He barks it out now for the gun. Needs to reach the Gators. 16-yard line, off Bolden's hands and incomplete. It was deflected on the slant. Anquan Bolden with Todd Johnson there again defensively. Number 26, so impressed the coaches at Florida. They had to get him on the field this year, so they moved him over to this safety spot, and he's been a dandy.
Yeah, he's been the only Gator defender to start every game this year for this defense.
He's played, Gary, by far the most amount of snaps on that team. I mean, well over 100 more than anybody else. Special teams, defense, doesn't miss a play. Quiet fella, good student over there in Gainesville, and they're going to go for the field goal right now. A 46-yard field goal with Brett Cimarelli. They've struggled this year with this part of their game, and they struggle again. Well short. Nothing doing. So it stays at 14-7. Sebastian Janikowski, where are you? Timeout. And it is all here on ABC Sports, home of the Bowl Championship Series. Yeah, young Nole fan. They start them young down here. You're either a Gator or a Nole at a very young age, and you stay that way. Let's see if Steve doesn't go back to his tight ends that worked out so well at the beginning of the game. It's down in 10. 14-7. The Noles still trying that running game with Gillespie, and this is something they also worked on, part of the game plan, Gary. They were determined to come over here and try to run the ball a little bit, but it's tough going against the Noles. Well, they're determined. I think they got it up to positive yard. Nope, they're to 0 yards rushing the ball. Well, 1st and 10 is brought to you by Samsung. You can see it on your screen. 2nd down and 9. Florida State again with a 3-man rush. Last time they got penetration. Reynolds he's hit on the release, and Gibson almost picked it off from Gaffney as a result. And again, pressure from the 3-man rush is setting it up. Yeah, both quarterbacks have lost their rhythm. You see Jesse Palmer, and you're going to see to the outside bracket coverage on Gaffney. Jesse with just enough pressure that he really kind of just lets this ball go through and doesn't follow through. And that is almost picked off and could have been very easily by Derek Gibson. And that was Warren on the other side of that defensive line, number 99. And again, Mickey sets down 3 defensive linemen. And on 3rd down, a deeper drop for Palmer. Waits for him to clear, throws to trouble. Double coverage there. Gibson again on Taylor Jacobs, and that could have been an interception. Well, with a 3-man rush, it allows the Florida State defense to bracket both outside receivers. You'll see a safety here and one safety there bracket, a bracket here on this receiver. Both receivers are going to be bracketed, and only the slot man is man-to-man. Everybody else is reading the quarterback's eyes. Ryan's punt takes a hop, and Thomas is going to let it roll dead. Good punt inside the 15-yard line for Alan Ryan, the senior from Sebring. A 55-yard punt. Timeout. Now, we'd put that on the air if you'd have put FedEx over there on the left, see? Because it's we can get the official title up there. Yeah, the old chief is here, and Renegade pawing around, and things have quieted down a little bit in this quarter, haven't they? Yeah, absolutely. Chris Weinke was very patient early. John Hoke has really adjusted his defense, using more robber defense, and Chris has not adjusted his game. And Chris trots back out onto the field here with Florida State leading Florida 14-7. 3:46 to go in the half. And complete with Bolden trying to pull away from Lito Shepherd, who gets help over there. And Bolden is down at the 20-yard line. So the Noles struck for the first touchdown of this game. Florida tied it, and then Winky came back with his second touchdown pass to make it 14-7, and that's how we got where we are right now. Inside of 3.5 minutes, John Saunders, Terry Bowden. Coming up at halftime here on ABC, they'll fill you in on all the stories, and there's a lot of big ones today. Bolden has already caught 7 passes today, and a cut by Minor in the hole to the 25-yard line on that carry, and he is down there. Clint Mitchell makes the stop, and the MSN halftime report will be coming your way.
First down, Florida State.
Sharon Dorsey was 75. You saw him lead the Noles out of the huddle there. Winky now pressure from behind, and he gets it off to Snoop Minnis, who's having a career here in the first half. That's 11 more yards, and that's 118 with 6 catches and a touchdown already for number 13.
See Chris Winky trying to keep the ball away from the middle of the field. He started out with a hitch pass to Bolden, comes out to an out pass to the outside, adjusting to the different coverages that Florida's given him right now. Sooner or later, again, he'll do one of those hitch and go.
We haven't had a sack in this game so far. The Gators show pressure. Now they back out. And they'll run, and they won't run far. I mean, the Gators jumped all over that play. Great pursuit to the ball that time.
Alex Brown at the end of that defensive line that time kind of, you know, you get all the headlines from sacking the quarterback. He doesn't have one, but he refused to be blocked on this play, turned it back inside where those linebackers can clean it up. Maybe will help from Alex himself.
Second down at 13. Bolden is off to Winky's right. Minnis toward the top of your screen. Winky wants Minnis. Got him on a slant across midfield. First down, Florida State. 18 more yards for Minnis.
Can't really cover much better than that with Lito Shepherd this time. Watch it to top. Winky play action pass. A little better turning this direction than to his left. The ball's thrown low right on the one of the three. Actually wasn't that low. Right into his gut that time. And Minnis such a big target and absolutely fearless. I remember when Mark Rick said to us yesterday, Brandon, he said, did we know he was, he said to Jeff Bowden, did we know he was this good a couple years ago? This guy's unbelievable.
Play fake. Wants Bell. Might be interference, but no flag. Oh, the linesman was looking at it, and Cromartie was over there defensively for the Gators. They could have thrown a flag on that one.
Still the skinny post this time, trying to keep the ball away from the hash marks where the safety is. And it looked like Cromartie put his right arm on the receiver that time and kind of got away with one.
Bolden trots back in to the huddle. Minnis with 7 catches. Bolden with 7 catches. Winky 18 of 31 for 275 yards, 2 touchdowns, but 2 interceptions. Second down and 10. Gators show blitz. Now they back out of it. They'll drop it off to Travis Minor, an excellent receiver. And Arkendo Johnson runs him out of bounds. The clock is stopped with 1:15 to go, and the Seminoles leading it by 7 points.
See that right now. Florida State, you just don't stop Florida State's 10 straight games over 500 yards in total offense. And a tough assignment for that defense for Florida. They need turnovers.
Florida State with only 1 timeout left here, 1:15 to go. Stop the clock on the sideline that time. They need 6. Ricky juggling, Walker out of bounds, incomplete, and now it comes to 4th down, and it's decision time. 1:10 up there. You're at the Gators' 45-yard line right now.
Well,
and if you miss, I think you got to punt it away right now.
You got to punt it. You got to punt it. Yeah.
Here they come.
I know one thing. They're not going to do a field goal.
In punt formation for Florida State, number
about 25 yards closer for a field goal.
And I'd be shocked if they faked it here too, partner. I think Control's going to bang it. Lito Shepherd, he lit up South Carolina late. in the first half in Gainesville last Saturday. An electrifying return on the run from the 17. Not today. A little bit different type of athlete, and a lot of them coming at you on this Saturday night. So, Gary, what do you think the Steve Spurrier will just take a crack here, won't he, with 59? You think he'll go to the locker room down 7?
I think he regroups here. You know, 14-7. He's in this football game. 2 turnovers has kept his team in this game. I think he tries to run the ball with a draw, maybe a safe screening, and see what happens.
Doing a lot of motioning on to the 2 wideouts out there. Bringing Caldwell in motion. And then doing what Gary suggested, and the Noles jumped it right now. Tommy Polley.
Somebody should have suggested a blocking on that running play.
So Polley, a young man from Dunbar High School outside of Washington, was an outstanding high school basketball player. Played basketball here, came as a basketball football player, and said, I couldn't handle both. So he's come in, underwent major knee surgery after last year's championship game, and he's played very well.
Yeah, simple isolation, though. I mean, right up the middle, Rod Frazier, the fullback that time, does not block the linebacker at the point of attack.
24 seconds, and the Gators trying to avoid any kind of a mistake down here. Graham to the middle. And the final seconds tick away. So Florida State leads Florida 14-7 here. Both teams ranked in the top 5 in the BCS. Now remember this, the Gators have outscored their opponents like that. Let's go down to Jackaroo. Jack.
Well, your defense is doing well, but how do you get your offense, specifically the ground game, back on track?
Yeah, we need to run a little bit, get some play action passes. We're not, they're covering us pretty good, our other stuff, but yeah, to only be down 7 right now, we feel pretty fortunate.
You're going to stick with Palmer?
Yeah, he's playing okay. That's not our problem. We got to run a little bit, get some play action, mix it up better.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep, tonight, folks, we'll count only once. 14-7. Florida State with the lead. The Gators with the football. Good field position. Coming up at their own 41-yard line. Number 7, the senior Jesse Palmer under center here to start the second half. Their first. And Gillespie the runner, and again nothing going as Derek Gibson helps jump the line of scrimmage for the Noles. And there are 4 in escort for Gillespie, taking him back inside the 30-yard line. And Tommy Polley, one of their big defensive players, we asked him what it's like going up against the Florida players.
You play Florida and Miami, it's just like, man, these guys fast, they strong. You know, they kind of emulate you a little bit. You kind of see yourself in them a little bit. And plus, most of the guys on the field were high school All-Americans, so you're going against the very best.
Yeah, the best of the best down here in this one. Second down and 10 for Palmer and the Gators. Pulls back. High, incomplete. Jacobs, the intended receiver.
Pressure that time, forced that high throw. Jeff Womble, number 91, got a bit again into Jesse Palmer's face. And now with 3rd and long, you'll probably see that 3-man front for Florida State. It's been so successful. These 3rd and longs are killing both offenses.
Yep. Here's one, Gary, for 10 yards they need now. They need to get to the Noles 47-yard line for a first down. Crowd making it tough. Palmer does have time, but he won't get the first down that way. Jennings makes a strong tackle. No yards after the catch that time. And Gillespie, just a safety valve receiver, and it is 3 and out as Ryan trucks onto the field.
Well, you can see Steve, as he told Jackaroo at halftime, we need to run the ball. He comes out on first down, tries to run it, gets nothing. And it ended up being nothing for a first down.
Nick Maddox was a late substitute to return this Ryan punt. That's a beauty. That is a beauty. Almost hung, but it went on in, and it'll come out on the 20-yard line. 55-yard punt. It'll be Florida State football. Timeout. Chris Weinke leads the Noles out. They lead at 14-7, 12:26 to go in the third quarter.
There's a few millionaires on this field. There are future millionaires on this field.
Well, Chris might already be one. He took that baseball bonus and invested it pretty wisely. He's back in the shotgun. Alex Brown trying to get some heat, and they pass it over the middle. They pick up 6-7 yards on that by hitting the tight end with Manuel, the defensive player, on Ryan Sprague that time. And speaking of Alex Brown, we'll ask him what it's like dealing with these 300-pound offensive linemen.
You try to get angles on them, and angles is the key in football. I think they're not just big, they have great feet, and they position themselves well as far as blocking, so it's going to be tough. It's going to be real tough.
And there's one of your future millionaires, and needing three, they got it. They break Travis Minor into the open, out to the 49-yard line, the best run of the game, 22 yards.
Well, last week against Wake, Florida State actually had 4 tailbacks injured and lost Jeff Chaney, a big tailback, big part of this offense. This time a little bit of a cutback right underneath Alex Brown. And I don't know if Travis Minor's 100%, but I do know it looks like he's running 100% straight ahead. He's not one of those shifty guys anyway, kind of a straight line running back.
The Noles have run for 37 yards, and they get 23 on that play. Play fake from Weinke. Deep incomplete. Lito Shepherd all over Snoop Minnis, and now a penalty flag comes flying, and that was really late.
Well, Snoop was really upset that Lito Shepherd cut him off on the play. There was an official right there watching it, and the back judge came from clear across the field to throw the flag. I thought Shepherd did a nice job of cutting him off on the play.
Pass interference on the defense. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Pump and run coverage. Lito's in there, puts his right arm on him and holds him, and you're going to get called for it every time. That's a penalty. His right arm was on him, and Minnis said, I could have gotten to that ball, and was really adamant that he could have got there. Kind of hard to doubt him because he catches so many of those type of plays.
1st and 10. And Minnis, 136 yards in receptions here. Ball is at the Gators' 36-yard line. Swing outside now to Minor, who's an excellent receiver, to the 28-yard line. Let's go down to Jackaroo.
Right, when Chris Weinke was growing up in Minnesota, he was like a lot of young kids, spent a lot of time with Grandpa up in a cabin in upstate Minnesota, and one of the frequenters, along with his dad, to that cabin, the man right behind Chris, that's Governor Jesse Ventura.
No, that's Jesse Ventura, football analyst. 2nd down and 1.
Do I have a new future?
Governor of Michigan, that's it. Here's Minor again. And now Travis Minor is starting to take this game over along with Minnis as he rushes inside the 20, and suddenly the running game is coming alive for the Noles.
Well, that and those senior offensive linemen, Justin Amon, Jared Moon, I mean, those guys inside, when you're able to run the ball against this Florida defense, and remember, Mississippi State gouged this defense for over 300 yards running the ball. Now it looks like a nice flow for this Florida State team, passing and running 2 weapons.
Minor's last 2 rushes, good for 30 yards. Ball is inside the 20, and here comes 23 again. There is a senior from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. He needs 165 yards for 1,000 yards for the season. The last rusher here at Florida State to gain 1,000 yards was Warwick Dunn. That was back in '96, and of course, both Minor and Dunn are from Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Yep. Well, it's in that red zone area again that Bob Bowden said, Bobby said, we've got to get some points when we get down there.
Here they are, 2nd down and 9. Play with 2 tight ends. Try to come to run Minor again, sprinting out to the left, and ridden down by Manuel, out of bounds at the 18-yard line.
Manuel on the defensive play for the Gators.
Here's the third down play coming up, and Minnis brings it in from the sideline, and he'll go off to Winky's right. And it's interesting, he is the lone wide receiver out here. Lito Shepherd will take him one-on-one. Here's your third down. Winky gonna look, go for him in zone, incomplete.
And he did it again. Lito Shepherd grabbed him.
And he taps him on the helmet and said, just keep it up and I'll get the flag every time as he went by him.
Beautiful route that time by Minnis. He went outside to create more space for Chris Winky to throw the ball, and then he came in the zone that he created himself.
Pass interference on the defense. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. It'll be 1st and goal.
See Minnis create the space, and then just as the ball's thrown, there you see it, he grabs him by the jersey, right in the back of the jersey right there, and Lito Shepherd was beat on the play, but it was all set up that time by a beautiful route by Snoop Minnis. Great patience on that route.
Minnis stays in. He'll go out to the right again. They'll be matched up against number 3, Lito Shepherd. 1st and goal from inside the 5. Don't bet against Minor. Here he comes. Short of the end zone, I believe. Right there, the linesman said. Very close. So it'll be 2nd down and goal. And in a way, Minor has deserved a chance to score this touchdown.
Yeah, he really has. The breakout run really changed the field position, and then the 2 penalties to the outside on Minnis has really made this drive work. But you know those offensive linemen now want to push in with the running game.
Todd Johnson is off on the sideline, and Dixon is in as the safety for the Gators. Now Minor comes off to the sideline, and they go with a power formation. Touchdown, Florida State. The old power eye, one of Bobby Bowden's favorites. And William McCray, the junior from Jacksonville who missed all of '99 with an injury, took it across the goal line for the Seminoles score, and now they'll go up by 2 touchdowns. Here's Cimarelli. Florida State 21, Florida 7. They go 80 yards. Travis Minor sets it up with this run. And from there, they let one of the big fellas carry it into the end zone. And it's 21-7, Noles, timeout.
Brent, this is what they're playing for, the Sears Trophy. It was instituted in 1993. Florida State won it that year, and they won it last year. So I guess they've had it from the beginning to the end.
Dade County just said, not so fast, my friend. The Miami Hurricanes still with something to say about this, along with the Washington Huskies. And now Carroll, the track sprinters, cannot find daylight. The Noles jump all over him. He's down at the 15-yard line, and Florida has lost a safety here, Todd Johnson.
Yeah, it happened on the interference penalty to Minnis in the end zone. Johnson's going to come into the picture on the left side, and I think his hand just goes under the knee, underneath the knee of Minnis, and as he goes up, you can see him holding that left hand.
He's gone to the locker room, and this touchdown was the 3rd of the night for the Noles as McCray pounds across, and now bad field position after a penalty is tacked on for the Florida Gators, who are down by 14, and that is the 10th penalty. 86 yards in penalties against the Gators, and Jesse Palmer with very bad field position. Gaffney is off to Palmer's left. end zone's got Gaffney coming underneath. Cody comes over, manning him, but he's out to the 16-yard line, and we check in with John Saunders. John?
Brent, time for the Burger King play of the day. The time remaining, you see, just seconds. 14-13 South Carolina over Clemson. Woody Dantzler, Gerard Gardner, 49 yards, and it sets up the game-winning field goal from 25 yards. Clemson wins 16-14.
Oh, my. Lou Holtz must still be shuttled. Second down, and Graham breaks. First down, and that perhaps the best run of the night as far as the Gators are concerned. 13 yards and a first down.
Yeah, no perhaps about it. That was Minor broke one and got the offense for Florida State going. Let's see if this one doesn't do it for Florida.
Jack, what's the latest on Johnson down below?
Well, Gary was absolutely right. He stoved his fingers in during that period, and they brought him in to have x-rays. He's questionable pending the outcome of the x-rays on his fingers.
Well, we've got a first down now for Palmer. Changing it up. The crowd noise is a factor here. Not this time. Gibson at safety joins in the chase. Number 6 is one of the best run-supporting safeties in the country. He actually is a linebacker, if you will, with great speed. The way he crushes that line of scrimmage for Mickey Andrews. I mean, he flies around as a tackler.
If you ask Mickey Andrews who's the most valuable defender on his defense, he'll tell you the Rover Gibson, because he's half linebacker, half cover guy. He's on the field the whole time, but he's the guy that a lot of the defenses are forced to him. They force the running back to that gap, and he comes up and cleans it up.
The war chant starting to rock this stadium, and Jesse Palmer's got trouble with the crowd noise. And I asked him how he would deal with the crowd here today.
Keep our poise. Got to keep a level head on your shoulders. Use a lot of hand signals, a lot of eye contact. Good communication on the sidelines before the play in the huddle. And just keep your cool, keep calm, get up under the center early and get going, get moving.
You know, even with that, Gary, there's still a problem.
There is, especially when you're having trouble running the ball, because you have to change so many things with protection. You're seeing so many different defenses that you're not quite sure all the time when you call the play what to do.
Well, college football on ABC Sports is brought to you by Ford F-Series. The best-selling trucks are built Ford tough. Budweiser, with the crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. Quest, the communications to change everything, and the new Remington TCT for the total closeness even on the toughest spots like your neck. 21-7 Florida State over Florida. Miami has already weighed in. A convincing win at the Carrier Dome over Syracuse. Now they will await the ballots and the computers will roll, the 8 of them, and we'll all find out how the BCS shakes out. No question Oklahoma, of course, will stay in that number 1 spot, but who will be number 2? Can Florida State make a convincing argument? They were favored by a dozen the last I saw coming into this one. Right now they lead it by 14. It's 21-7.
Where's the tight end? Where has the tight end been for Florida?
Palmer down middle, got him right there. Good call, Gary. They go back, and now they're going to wave it off. He was right there. Kirk Wells had a shot at it.
Yeah, when the ball was thrown about as good as you could throw it, Wells had to come up with a great catch. He got hit just as the ball was there, but you can see Wells thinks he should have had it and made a play for the Gators. There's not a lot of space out there when you go against these guys. This guy's going to go right down the middle. Got coverage that time by the linebacker Brian Allen. The ball is thrown as good as you can throw it, and it was dropped actually before he got hit.
Yeah, it was. They're down. Coming up, and Walker Wells, I should say, a little disgusted with himself. Walker's now in the game. Pump fake coming down toward Gaffney and almost intercepted. He threw to double coverage that time, and number 27, Tay Cody, all over the receiver.
Well, you can hardly blame Jesse Palmer for the throw to the tight end, but that time he just got a little lackadaisical with that throw, laid it up when he should have stuck it in there. You see it's a little Gaffney, a little bend and go, but he's throwing it right into the bump and run coverage and double coverage at the same time. Gibson does such a nice job, Brent, playing the run and playing the receiver at the same time.
Outstanding safety. Thomas is back. Well, you know, last Saturday there was quite a ceremony, folks, at Central Connecticut State University. They dedicated their new $5 million home football stadium, and it is named a Root Field. And there's Jack's father. The field is named in honor of his grandfather, a longtime supporter at Central Connecticut State University. And they won that game in overtime, 35-34, so expect lots of scores from a Root Field at Central Connecticut State University. Do you ever think you'd have a football field named after the family, Jack? That's great.
No, it's quite an honor, Brett. We've always been very happy to be associated with CCSU. In fact, I could have gone there if I wanted to. You know, they did accept me.
Well, obviously. I mean, your grandpa went in there and built that field for him, you know, the original football field.
Yeah, he built it free of charge because the state turned them down for financing. He says, well, I'll go in and do it.
All right, that was Travis Minor hit by Marcus Oquendo Johnson here. And now we've got second down and 12. Gators are down by 14. They could use a big play out of their defense. They run at Alex Brown, and he helps come off the block and helps bring the running back down that time. You could see the strength of Alex as they were running right at him that time, and he stood his ground. I believe he's shaken up a little bit on that play, too. He came off that block, and that is Alex. He'll have to leave for at least one play, receiving medical attention over here.
Had such a great year a year ago with all those sacks, and this year started out slow, but he's got it going now, and he's becoming a force like he was a year ago.
Well, we mentioned the BCS, so let's take a look at how they stood coming into the weekend. Oklahoma, of course, with the win. Miami, we just mentioned that one. Here we've got 3 and 4. Washington with a win, and they have wrapped up at least the Rose Bowl at the very least. Now, there is obviously a sequence that would put them in the Orange Bowl to play for the championship. But
so for Washington to get there, I think you got to have Florida State lose, and you got to have Oklahoma lose. Wouldn't you have to have those two at least lose for them to climb up the rafter that time?
Oh, at least.
Yeah. Alex Brown in the line of scrimmage. He's got the big guy right in his face. Brett Williams does a nice job. Look at that footwork by Williams, pushing Brown back. Brown does good effort, gets back on the play. Natil makes the play, but Brown gets in on it, and everybody falls on him at the same time.
Still receiving some attention down there.
You get mesmerized by all these athletes with the ball, Brent, but these offensive linemen for both these teams are doing a great job. Not a sack in the football game.
Glad to see it is not serious. So Johnson is back. Nice pack on his hand, but he got his helmet on. And Jack, what are you hearing?
Well, the x-ray came back. He indeed does have a broken finger, but the doctors say if need be, he may, and I repeat may, go back in, depending on how that icing goes.
Right now it is Daryl Dixon who is playing at that safety spot. Winky sees Manuel sneaking up. Now he drops back. He'll go in that direction and throw too high. Benny Alexander, the defensive back, on Bolden that time.
Yeah, he got pressure inside that time, and he had to let go of that ball way early before he wanted to.
Well, as we await the punt, let's remind you that Monday night it is a must-win situation for Washington. They'll play St. Louis at 9 Eastern time, and then AFC action coming your way Sunday on ESPN. Jaguars Steelers. Right now we're in punt formation. Cottrell is back. Shepard to return. Shepard at the 21-yard line and cut off. Still battling and nothing doing. The best coverage teams I've seen this season right here in Tallahassee tonight. It has been some 7-yard return, and Shepard's got tons of speed. Well, Wednesday night, an all-new Drew Carey show. Drew's finally getting married, but it's not to Kate. It's to Mr. Wick. Find out why on an all-new Drew Carey Wednesday on ABC.
Got to believe Steve is looking really closely at Jesse Palmer on this series. If it doesn't work out, we might see Rex Grossman.
Yeah, he's just 2 of his last 8. Sack. That's the first sack of this game. Kevin Emanuel from Waco, Texas.
Yeah, you know Steve is not, I mean, he has a vision of how he wants these plays, you know, run. And if he gets a bit impatient, he'll switch on a dime here. He'll just go to the next guy. And one of the things about Florida, Steve says, is I may put you on the bench, but you can get off the bench. You know, we go both ways in this thing.
Here's 2nd and 13. Flare it out, and they come back to the tight end that time. And again,
there's another penalty. Might be holding inside that time.
So with 3.5 minutes to go, it is 21-7. Florida State with a 2-touchdown lead. We've had 14 penalties in the game so far.
And the last 2 pass interference penalties were huge to Lito Shepherd, and now on a completed pass, going to back it up again.
Face mask on the offense. Half the distance to the goal from the spot of the foul.
The last drive, Florida State got the running game going and the penalty game going, and then stick it in the end zone.
So it'll be taken all the way back to the 10-yard line, and that is 11 penalties for 101 yards against the Gators here tonight. Gillespie darts the 22-yard line, but not even close getting back to the original line of scrimmage. And Samuels makes the stop for the Noles.
Stanford Samuels, the freshman nickelback that's in the game in these long yardage situations. Mickey Andrews in Florida State using 3 defensive linemen most of the time.
1st and 10 is brought to you tonight by Pacific Life. Here's 3rd down and 17. Caldwell, but that's short of the 1st down. The Gators are forced to punt it away. Samuels again makes the stop.
The outside guy is going to get help from the safety on this play. It's man-to-man in the slot, and Samuels forces his guy wide and says, go ahead, throw it. I just got to make the tackle and force the punt.
Trying to punt it, and Maddox is in to return this one for the Noles. Good punt from Ryan. The 19, Maddox spins, shakes loose, and coming hard now. Cut from behind at the 37, but that was quite an 18-yard return.
Nick Maddox, most of the year spent at wide receiver, but had to go back to running back for this game because of the injury to Jeff Chaney.
Chaney has been lost for the season for Florida State, along with Davey Ford, so they've been short-handed at the running back spot. But Travis Minor, with the ankle injury, has carried it 15 times for 49 yards, 30 yards on their recent scoring drive. So he has stepped in there and played well despite that painful left ankle. And Winky from the shotgun holds up again. Here's Bell, who scored the game's 1st touchdown, run out of bounds at the 43-yard line by Scott. Jack, what are we hearing about Alex?
Well, the athletic trainer for Florida State examined him, and they seem to think he has slightly sprained his knee, Brent. They do feel, though, that he might be able to return. They want to get him back in this game because, as you guys know, they really need him on D.
He's back in there, Jack. So you're right. Slightly sprained knee, but he's back in there.
Well, Winky has thrown 302 yards now for the Noles against this Florida defense, and movement down in there, and there's Warren busting across on number 16.
Yeah, Jared Moon that time, the center, saw Alex Brown go into the neutral zone, so he snapped it to Winky, and Winky just took a knee, and they're going to get 5 yards because of it.
Offsides on the defense in the neutral zone at the snap. 5-yard penalty. It'll be a 1st down.
So Rex Grossman,
Yeah,
the redshirt freshman, starts to throw over there on the far side for Steve Spurrier, and it figures that he's going to get a chance here.
Yeah, I had a hunch if that series didn't go well, Steve's patience, and actually, you know, rightly so, 21-7 here now going to the fourth quarter. You might as well try to see if you can find a hot hand.
Misfired that time to Bolden as Alex Brown was dropping back on the zone blitz that time. So our Heisman update on the two we figure are the leading candidates right now. Josh Heupel of Oklahoma. This is after his performance today. And of course the Sooners 10-0. Winky is 10-1. He's thrown for more yards, more touchdowns, and both of them completing well over 60%. So there you are. That's a Florida-looking battle, isn't it, folks?
Everybody's watching TV, aren't they?
Second down, and Winky on a sprint low to Minnis, incomplete.
Chris Winky, when we saw him early in the year when he had lost weight against Georgia Tech, he was throwing well on the run, but now with that ankle, he just does not seem to be able to throw at all out of the pocket. Just keep him in the pocket is all he can do. Let's see if Minnis catches this ball. It's low. Who knows? Got to have one of those guys with those, you know, capes over your head to look at that one.
Well, the official shouldn't have missed it. You know, he was
right
looking
there.
right at it. He had the angle on the play, so he should have been right on top.
Well,
Third down and 10 coming up now for Winky. And they have to use a timeout. There was a personnel problem down there for the Noles, and they're going to take a timeout. The receivers were a little bit confused as to who was going to be in the game, so they'll huddle up a little bit. Timeout.
Right here on the sidelines, the temperature has dropped to 44 degrees, and with the wind chill, they're telling me it's about 32. So what have they done? They've broken out the heaters on the Florida sidelines. Over on Florida State sidelines, they got a couple of small heaters, but it's Tallahassee. They're used to it.
Exactly. They get a little chilly up here in this part of the state of Florida. And, of course, that cold front's been knifing down. Blame it on the state of Georgia. 21-7, the Noles with the lead, and 1:16 to go in the third. There's Walker. Transferred here out of Jones, Mississippi JC. Lines up as one of the wideouts on third down and 10, and Winky back there in that shotgun. Great protection. He's going. He's got a man. Touchdown. Touchdown. Florida State. Snoop, 51 yards.
This was a big-time throw. A big-time throw. This ball wasn't any more than 15 yards off the ground the whole way, and he gunned it all the way down there.
Bobble snap on the extra point. So the snap was not on target. And they'll sit on 27 after the missed extra point, and Minnis with a career night. 8 catches for 187 yards, his best ever, and 2 touchdowns.
Minnis is to the outside. He's just going to streak right in between the safety and the corner. They feel that Minnis, Florida, is going to stop and try to make a first down. He just keeps going, and watch this gun. That ball is on the line. No more, and look at the safety, never got to it that time. Lester Norwood, and if Todd Johnson's not in the football game right here, that may be a big difference in this thing, because Norwood took a bad angle, misjudged the ball, and Minnis trots into the end zone. That's a big-time throw right there. That's 45 yards, almost on the line.
Here is the botched snap. It was down low. They couldn't salvage it nearly in time, and Cimarelli misses the extra point, sitting on 27-7. And if the Gators can get any offense going, you would say that that's a big missed extra point, but they just simply haven't shown any life here. Last time they scored, they tied the score at 7. So So they've given up 20 unanswered points. And now Ratliff looking for an alley. He's out of bounds at the 24, 25-yard line, where the Gators will put it in play. And we look over to the sideline, and I see Palmer is coming back into the game. So, Gary, it turns out that Steve was not willing to yank him, at least not right there.
Well, there's only one guy Steve takes advice from, and that's Steve. He has a feel for it.
David Jorgensen, the center down there, trying to get things straight. Call out the blocking assignments. Palmer fires. Gaffney's got it right at the first down marker. So 53 seconds left in the third quarter. Remember, Mississippi State pounded Florida, and then they came rushing back behind the freshman Brock Berlin in the fourth quarter, and the Gators made a run at him. So Steve's not yet out of this game, even though they're down 27-7. However, the defensive talent all over the field would be stronger here at Florida State than it is at Mississippi State, which suffered a huge loss today in overtime at the hands of Arkansas, and that knocked them out of the SEC title game. Auburn now steps in, and a week from Saturday, they'll play Florida in Atlanta. Here it is, first down after the Gaffney catch, and a penalty flag stops the play.
Getting a bit chippy out there. Thomas Moody and Darnell Dockett have really been waging a war down there. Defensive tackle against offensive guard.
Dead ball, false start on the offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
13 penalties, holy cow.
For 111 yards here today. They have rushed, when you look at Florida, they've only rushed for 26.
Right.
They've been penalized for 111 yards here today.
And a lot of times a fast team, a speed team, a talented team forces a lot of those penalties on you. You're getting beat, you're grabbing onto anything you can to protect your team.
And remember now, tonight Bobby Bowden won't call the dogs off. He wants to impress the BCS voters and the computers. Palmer steps away from it. Still looking for someone. Still waiting. Going to come cross middle. Diving interception at midfield. No, they're going to wave it off. So for a moment it looked like Chris Hope had it, but it was.
Well, I thought he
hold on now. They're going to change their mind. It looked to me like he had it all the way.
You were right at first. I thought he got it, but it's the way. LeVan Thomas does a nice job cutting across. Watch him cut right across this play right there, and that blinds the receiver, Rashae Caldwell. And yes, that was intercepted right there by Chris Hope.
So now Winky brings it back out. He's 51 yards away from the end zone again, leading at 27-7. He's got Minnis out to his right. Comes back middle, incomplete, and no penalty on this one intended for Sprague, the senior tight end. Okendo Johnson defending him.
Brent, you know, if you just disregard Chris Winky's age and just watch him play, the guy's got a big-time arm. I mean, as you look at the unforced errors in this game, it's killing Florida. There's no doubt about it. Those penalties are just killing it right there. But Chris Winky can really come the ball. He's as close to Drew Henson as I've seen all year.
Second and 10. Here's Minor, and he's hit right in the middle that time by Warren, number 61. He tops the defensive line and tackles this year. He figures to be a first-round draft choice when he finally decides to play in the NFL. That's a position that a lot of pro teams are always looking for talent. That's in that defensive line, trying to get that inside push if they can. So tough to find good defensive tackles at the pro level. Third down and 9. Mickey Andrews talking over there on the sideline as the final seconds tick away here on the third quarter. So Steve Spurrier and the Gators will need a big rally in the fourth quarter. 27-7, and Alex Brown will have to pick himself up as Snoop Menace goes the long way. And Alex, like every Gator, is frustrated at what happened. The Noles lead it. Timeout. Gary, I never knew that Pat Buchanan attended Miami.
He's on the right side, right?
So here's 3rd down and 9 for Winky and the Noles, who lead at 27-7. We start the final 15 minutes from the shotgun. Another great job by the offensive line. Tip away from Walker that time, incomplete, and the Noles will have to punt it away.
Yeah, that offensive line is doing a great job. Right up front, Ahmed, Moon, Holland, Dorsey, Williams, big timers. They're giving the old man room to throw the ball. Watch these guys up front. There's no push, taking them on right there. Look at that, great job. Look at the chance for Winky to step up into that pocket. Very, very clean. Chris, don't get used to it. It won't be like that next year, I promise you.
Gators would love to get in, and they had a little penetration that time, but Cottrell's an excellent punter into the end zone. It'll come out on the 20-yard line. 50-yarder, but he did not want a touchback that time. Timeout. Rex Grossman re-enters the game. Remember, he took the first snap for the Gators, so he has replaced Jesse Bomber. And the redshirt freshman from Bloomington, Indiana, steps under center here with 1st down as Steve Spurrier uses 2 quarterbacks, fires complete, and down at the 25. We asked Steve about using 2 quarterbacks.
We're going up there with 2 quarterbacks. Do I like that? Not particularly. I wish we had one guy that was clearly our best player, and if that was the case, you know, he would go do it. But Rex has done a lot of good things this year. He's still just a freshman, and Jesse's got a lot more experience, knows how to handle things a lot better.
But he did not handle them all that well here tonight. 2nd down and 3 as Steve turns back to the redshirt freshman. Grossman quickly back, fires 1st down to Gaffney and out of bounds at the 39. And Gary, 2 pretty nice looking throws right away.
When I watched him on film, Brett, it just looked like he's a guy who's thrown like 1,000 balls. You know, he loves to throw the ball. He really went after Florida. I mean, this is a guy out of Indiana that has to have confidence in himself to say, I want to go play in Florida, because you know the type of competition you get in Florida at quarterback.
Yeah, indeed. And he and his father brought the reel of tape there, having to catch Steve not on the golf course during the offseason. Looked at it and decided to recruit the young man. Down the middle, got a man. Got him right away. Alex Willis, his first catch of the game. The middle was open, and where's that been all night, Mr. Danielson?
Well, and you see the rhythm that Grossman throws it with. He doesn't have a cannon arm. He's just a rhythm thrower, just gets it to the spot, has tremendous confidence in himself as a quarterback. This is a guy that came in. Remember, he had 5 touchdown passes against Auburn. He just gets it right in the middle. A mistake that time. Number 10, Stanford Samuel, just let the guy go down the middle of the field.
So Grossman gives him a lift, and he pulls out again. Gonna go in zone, but he got a cover man there. Incomplete. Hope with coverage on Gaffney in the end zone that time, and it'll be 2nd down and 10. We check in now with Jackaroo.
Well, Brent, you started the story about Rex Grossman after Steve Spurrier talked philosophy with Rex and his parents, and after they had gone on an extended vacation to Colorado, they came back to Bloomington, checked the mailbox, and lo and behold, there was a handwritten note from one Steve Spurrier and an offer of a scholarship to the University of Florida.
2nd down and 10. Grossman is under center. Gators need to strike. Grossman trying to change it up. He has 5 wideouts. Intercepted. Picked off by Cody, his 2nd of the game. And Tay Cody could break it to the 16-yard line. A 58-yard return with that interception.
Mickey Andrews got a young quarterback, and with just 3 men, you see Cody inside technique. He's way inside. It's a blitz. This time, Mickey Andrews says, I'm coming after the young guy. Cody reads the route and actually beats the ball to the receiver that time. Taylor Jacobs got beat by the corner that time. Cody put the blitz on the young guy, and Mickey Andrews had the right call that time.
Golightly, the fullback. Miners, the tailback. Missed the wide out for Weinke, who's under center. Here's Miner. Tricked up and down at the 13-yard line. Two interceptions tonight for number 27, Tay Cody, who has had his best year as a senior, playing on the corner. Second down and 7. Here's Miner. He battles his way to the 12-yard line. Miner was injured late in last year's game at Gainesville, and Cheney came on and replaced him and did a fine job in a Seminole win. And in that game, the Gators were throwing into the end zone on the game's final play in a bid to tie it up. And here's a big play defensively for Florida. 3rd down and 5.
Minnis is back in the game.
He'll trot out to the left.
2 tight ends, I formation.
So the Gators man up on Minnis. They'll run it again. Here's Miner. No first down, and this should bring about a field goal, but you'd never know because Bobby Bowden doesn't have a whole lot of confidence in his kicking game.
A little surprised by that series. It looked like 3 straight times they challenged Florida on the run game. Sitting at 20 points, if you wonder if they just said, hey, we want to at least kick a field goal here.
I think Snoop Minnis is saying, we don't want any field goal, coach. But now he's trotting on over the sideline. And yeah, here quickly they're going to have to get Golightly out.
Yeah, they got to take.
But they still got 9 seconds. Weinke's got the clock right in front of him. 4th down. And they quickly, and there's the penalty flag on that shift. And I'm sure if it is a 5-yarder that the Noles, will they go for a field goal this time? And again, Bobby Bowden just does not have any confidence.
Dead ball, false start on the offense, simulating action at the snap. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Well, you see, he had a trick play call. It was less than 5 yards. And now they're going to have to kick the field goal with 5 yards back farther. That doesn't matter at all.
That's the first penalty against the Noles since the opening quarter.
Yeah, they have played the cleaner game. No doubt about it.
You can see the holder there is Keith Cottrell, and he's trying to get everybody, enough bodies on the field here to block for him, and it's a 33-yarder. Good. Florida State leads Florida 30-7 with 10:42 to go. Well, Chris Weinke has thrown for 353 yards, and Gary, you're impressed with him tonight. I get the feeling you think he can play in the NFL.
I don't think there's any doubt, Brent. He's got a strong enough arm. He's smart enough. It won't happen overnight for him. But, you know, I watch a lot of guys in that league throw the ball that don't have the arm he does.
Well, what about a San Diego, though? Can he play for a team that needs so much help? Can he step right into something like that?
There's a team that plays near me that could use him, I think, also. You know, he's not going to cost the team much. And a team like the Lions that got a young quarterback that's still learning could get a guy like Chris Weinke and have 2 guys for the fourth and run over.
So Carroll battles back to the 30-yard line, or let me check that. That was Ratliff returning that. We check in on the Dell Game Solutions.
The Florida offense has not got any big plays. They had the one to Gaffney early, but that's it. The precision passing has turned around, and Florida State has done it. This has been the difference. They've turned Air Spurrier into Error Spurrier with penalties and turnovers and no running game. That has been the difference in the football game.
They have not played a good game here tonight.
No, they've not.
Well, let's be honest about it. They have not been a good football team. Coach has to be a little disappointed. It's a young team. Grossman back, wants to throw that middle screen, and Graham breaks to the 40, out to midfield. So Ernest Graham on the screen for 20 yards and a first down here at the top of the hour with Florida State looking to impress voters and computers and jump ahead of Miami. In case you have not heard, the Hurricanes with an impressive performance up in Syracuse tonight. And so the voters and the computers will be rolling out their result. Oklahoma certainly will stay #1.
Well, whenever you get voters and computers together, we know from a lot of different things people like to talk about it, don't they?
They sure do. Here's first down. Into that middle again using Ernest Graham. Ernest Graham is an interesting young man. He was an outstanding athlete from Fort Myers. He was Florida's Mr. Football. I think it was back about 1997. There's a good basketball player over with the Florida team, Teddy Dupay. He's friendly with Graham. They used to have great competitions. And Ernest Graham was also drafted as a center fielder by the Philadelphia Phillies. Second down for the Gators. Trying to get something going here behind Grossman. Getting good protection. Nice pass as he rifles it to Alex Willis. And a reminder that at the end of the game we'll select the Chevrolet Player of the Game. And Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's General Scholarship Fund.
Rex Grossman is a very quick release. He's going to have some competition next year, though. Brock Berlin, a young freshman that very highly thought of, is going to battle him for that job. And I guess around here in Florida, you got to have two of them. Steve uses two of them.
First down and 10. Three-man rush. Pump fake. Throws long and incomplete. And I want to tell you, measuring that one again was Cody. He was looking for #3. And you mentioned Brock Berlin. Gary, I had a chance to watch him over in practice the other day. And I will tell you that he's one of the most impressive freshman quarterbacks I have watched this season. In throwing in practice, nobody breaks stride when they catch a ball thrown by Brock. He quietly went through the paces. Steve used him early in the practice. Then when he put the game plan in, he went to Jesse and Grossman. But I think that Brock Berlin has got a chance to be an outstanding Florida quarterback. Second down now. Grossman sets, fires to the sideline, and Gaffney works it, and he's out of bounds. We check in with Jack Arute.
Well, Brent, after the 27-24 Miami loss, Bobby Bowden gathered all of his coaches together in a room. He sat them down. He said, take a look at the people that we have playing this game. Look at this team. We may never get such a talented group ever together again. He said, in fact, guys, in my 25 years, this may be the best team that I've ever had. And then he told the coaches, why don't y'all go out and do something with it?
Well, they're doing it here tonight. Third down and 1, running for it, and they got it. And Ernest Graham to the 24-yard line and a Florida first down. 9 minutes to go. Florida is down 23, 30-7, so they're going to have to hurry it up. Can't waste time, and as Gary pointed out, they simply have not had big plays here tonight, which is what they're going to need in abundance to try and get back in this one for Spurrier.
Really, one of the reasons is Mickey Andrews has featured a three-man defensive line. We've talked about it all night, and that's forced.
And Cody's down, and that would be just a huge loss. Tay Cody with an injured foot. Well, you know, this is the 13th consecutive season that both Florida and Florida State have entered this game ranked in the top 10. And Florida will hurry and break it out of the huddle now to see what they can do with that clock ticking away on them. Malcolm Tatum checks in as a defensive back. Pointing out a blocking assist. Here comes the blitz. Grossman going to fire against it. Gaffney was held up. And there comes the penalty flag. There is the penalty flag as Thomas went back on the errant throw. Gaffney had already held up after the collision, and now there are a couple of flags thrown back there, so they're going to get it on Thomas this time.
Well, you are allowed to jam downfield in the college game, but not when the ball is in the air, and that's why it's going to be called pass interference. Gaffney was running a curl and go, and as the ball was thrown up, he was jamming.
Pass interference on the defense, 15 yards from the previous spot, automatic first down.
Top the screen, it's going to happen right out there with those two guys. Watch Gaffney come down, run a little look in. Just look, and then try to go by him. Ball's in the air, see the ball in the air, and there's the jam, and that's an easy one. Nice job, though. Nice job, huh? Going back and getting that ball. Very athletic.
But it is first down and goal with Cody on the sideline for the Noles.
Malcolm Tatum is the guy taking his place right here.
There's that middle screen. Ernest Green dashes for the end zone. Battles just short of it. Just down at the 1-yard line here at the 8:28 mark. And the Gators looking for a lift. Looking to pound this in and then see if they can come up with a defensive stop. Seconds are ticking away on them right now. They've got 2 timeouts left, and you know they want to keep those for as late as they possibly can. And now the penalty flag.
Well, it looked like the left guard, Thomas Moody, put his hand down and then got back up again. That's why they're going to call it illegal procedure.
Dead ball, false start on the offense, 5-yard penalty.
Another critical penalty against the Gators.
Now, Moody said he didn't put his hand down. He's arguing. It just looked like he made the motion to go down, and he called it way before the ball was snapped.
That's 14 penalties against Florida tonight. 116 yards. Second down and goal. Grossman to throw. Flood on the fade. No. Third down.
He went right at Tatum, didn't they?
Yes, he did. They've got that smelling blood.
Yep.
He went for him, and if time permits, stay tuned for the Thrifty Carmelo post-game report featuring scores and highlights from across the country. And Jack, what are we hearing about Cody down below?
Well, Brent, they're wrapping Tate Cody's left ankle as we speak. They feel that he has a slight sprain. They think once they get it taped up and isolated, let him walk on it for a while, they're going to try and get him back in the game.
Third down and 5. Grossman goes the other way and almost picked off. Not a good pass. And Samuels had a clear shot with it.
Well, it's called a wrong shoulder fade. What you do is throw it at the back shoulder as he comes out. And this time, as Grossman let go of the ball to the outside, Thomas says, wrong shoulder this. I see it more better than Gaffney does. Gaffney never helped the quarterback that time. He threw it at the back shoulder, but that wasn't very good execution by the receiver.
The crowd rocks Tallahassee right now. Fourth down and goal. Short drop, fade, Gaffney jump ball, incomplete. Florida State's football.
Rex Grossman made a mistake, Brent. He misread it. He threw it right into the double coverage.
Florida State in command against Florida. They lead at 37 with 7.5 minutes to go. Timeout. Florida unable to score here since the opening quarter when they tied it at 7. And since then, 23 unanswered points for Florida State. They get down to the 1-yard line, and an offensive lineman is called for picking up his hand, and the 5 yards costly to the Gators, who now are desperate to get that football back as Travis Minor slips free to the 10. And Chris Weinke has had quite a day. 23 of 44, 353 yards, and these 3 touchdowns.
He really puts the ball in there where his receivers can get it. He's got the big gun. He knows what he's doing, and he puts it on the line when a team needs it. He's great playing from behind, too, Brett. Remember that Georgia Tech game? 7 for 7 after Georgia Tech took the lead in that early game down there in Atlanta. Well, I guess from here it's up there. Northern
Florida State continuing to run on the clock. Bowden figures that with a 23-point lead, he certainly has enough to impress the BCS fellas. And
well, I'm impressed.
Doolin, Miami, and you are impressed with this Florida State
I am,
team.
and you know, as a player, I can feel for Miami. They beat this team. They beat them at home. You look at the yards right there. But Miami has to realize Florida State, the defending champions, playing this tough Florida team, they're going to get a lot of points from this game. I feel pretty confident they're going to pass it.
You know, it's interesting. The other day, right after this play, I'll tell you the story about it. We'll let him take it. There's Travis Minor, and he slips out for a first down on that play. I said, you know, Bobby, in Miami, you could jump them with a big. Don't you feel badly for Miami and what they've got to be going through with this computer thing? Listen up to the coaches.
I ain't got a conscience. I have no conscience whatsoever. Hey, I remember in '89, we beat them right out here. They won the national championship. So we've been through that.
Indeed they have. And, of course, you know the story. Wide right in a frantic bid to tie that game down in the Orange Bowl on a very muggy Saturday. Bowden and the Seminoles suffering their only loss of the season, their only tarnish on the year. Travis Minor. And I dare say when they write the history books on college football the last 25 years, they look back on this senior class, these 25 players, they're going to say this is one of the greatest classes in the history of college football. What these fellas have accomplished, playing for 3 national championships, winning 1, chance to go back for another one. It's just an amazing saga that this senior class has written.
Remember early in the year that play action pass that Chris Weinke threw to Snoop Minnis out of his end zone? This safety for Florida saw it too, Brent. He's been back sometimes 15 yards, 20 yards, waiting for that play action pass. Florida State just keeps running the ball.
ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you tonight by Chevrolet. If only was as dependable as a Chevy. Chevy will be there. Sears and the Sears National Champion Football Trophy. Burger King, Got the Urge, and MSN. Everything you need to feel at home on the web, all in one place.
Okay, see, I crawled way out on that limb. I said I thought Florida State was going to pass Miami, and I heard silence.
Zilch
just silence right over here.
I live too close to Burl Davis. You get nothing from me on that one, huh?
Silence is definitely over here. Guys got an opinion on everything but the biggest thing in football.
Here comes Minor. Slash first down again for Florida State as they
way out here on the limb. Way out
down the clock. You want me to saw it off, you know? And first of all, I got to pay another bill. You say I paid a bill. You take care of that whole thing. You know, we got this 1st and 10 line here, and the Noles haven't needed it. They've just pounded past it. 1st and 10 is brought to you, though, by Pacific Life. Here tonight, the Florida State Seminoles with 438 total yards. So got 4 minutes left. They probably will not hit that magic 500 here tonight.
Well, they're going to hit that magic opportunity playing maybe in the national championship.
You know, I'm seeing what's happening here tonight as Minor continues around the clock. And you know, Gary, when son Tommy Bowden brought Clemson in here, and Daddy put a whipping on him, and now in Tallahassee, folks, they're calling that child abuse. That's the name that they've got for that. There's another son who's on the staff here, and that is Jeff Bowden, who does an outstanding job with the wide receivers here at Florida State, working with this talent, getting them all into the game, getting them rotations. Kind of an unsung member of the Bowden family, if you will. And when you watch him work in practice with Mark Richt, he is a very active member of that offensive staff.
Oh, absolutely. The receivers work real hard. You watch Florida State practice, they practice hard.
Continuing to pound away at the clock. And while we got a moment, let me thank the folks who brought you tonight's game and all our great college football action this year. The executive producer of ABC Sports is Howard Katz. The executive producer of ABC's College Football, John Filippelli. Director of production, Bob Toms. The coordinating producer and producer of tonight's game, Bob Goodrich. And our director, Larry Kahn. Technical director, Monty Poling. Associate producer, Mitch Green. Associate director, Scott McGrath, the tease man. Production manager, Scott Silverman. The technical manager, Mark Towey. And special thanks to Ross Malloy, David Fowler, Craig Rothberg, Roger Riley, Brian Mobilson. And now Minor working on the clock. And our audio man, Wendell Stevens, and our audio assist up here in the booth, Stan the Gator fan. He's going to go home a little unhappy. And also thanks to the SIDs, these two schools gave us so much help throughout the course of the week. John Humanek in Gainesville, the Florida SID. Rob Wilson right here in Tallahassee at Florida State. You don't find two finer fellows than that.
It's like they're used to big games around here.
Yep.
I think they've been in it a while.
Yep. And we'll see Steve and the Gators a week from Saturday in the SEC championship game up in Atlanta. That'll be against Auburn. They'll regroup. They'll be back. Florida fans know this is a young team. They're taking a licking here tonight. It's going to hurt, but they'll shake it off. And The punter trots onto the field. This could be the last time that Chris Weinke leaves the field in Tallahassee. The exit for one of the greatest quarterbacks in the history of Florida State football. What a fabulous career for Chris Weinke. Timeout. I think Drew Esikoff told me that Dick Vermeil was going to be there Monday night. Watch the game, so I'm sure he'll like to go back and see his former team here. As low snap, blocked. Gators have a chance. Scooped up and a 1st and goal at the 9-yard line. It was a bad snap. And let's see if Florida can at least finish one off here, Mr. Danielson, with about 1:36 to go. Take a look at this.
2 bad snaps in the game, 1 on the extra point, this one on the punt. Cottrell doesn't do a very good job picking this ball up, and right up the gut this time is blocked by Marcus Johnson. And you're right. Florida's going to have a chance to put on some points on the board.
Yeah.
Maybe we can find a Chevy player of the game for Florida.
Well, Okendo Johnson just volunteered with that block. Huh? Okendo Johnson. Here is our Chevrolet players of the game, and certainly Snoop Minnis, who had a monster of a night for Chris Weinke. They voted for that when I wasn't looking. 8 catches, 187 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And Alex Brown, with the interception he hustled, came back after the injury, but Okendo Johnson entered. And, you know, there's one thing up here before I check in on my colleague. You know, I don't know if any of you are watching the highlights today, but Gary's son, backup quarterback at Northwestern, dashed in. But you know, Gary, early this season, we were doing a game at Ohio State. You jumped me for saying that the Buckeyes should score. And I'm now Matt's like me. You run the score up. Now, what's the deal? Your own son runs the score up on Illinois.
We're Northwestern trying to get into that Citrus Bowl.
All right, Jackaroo.
Let me show you what Bobby Bowden's going to have for his victory dinner. You take a banana, a piece of bread, take some peanut butter, put it right on top of this banana. This is his favorite meal. Peanut butter and banana. Ann has to have so much of this when she goes away because it's all Bobby will eat.
Jack, you drive home by yourself tonight.
She's my wheelman.
You go home by yourself tonight.
Don't bring that stuff in the car. Well, it's first down here, folks. We have a lot of fun with these college football games. Here's Grossman. Grossman backing up, slant. Gillespie short of the end zone, and this Mickey Andrews defense determined now to keep Florida out. They have not given up a touchdown since the first quarter. They know that the pollsters, the BCS computers. Now you look. Now, is that a football coach's face? Now you look at Mickey. Yeah, he's in the middle of everything down there. Oh, does he want to stop young Grossman here? 3 wideouts down to the right. This one's for Ego. Not to mention the BCS computers. Here comes Grossman. Flair Gillespie not going to make it. Allen was right there at the 5-yard line. Brian Allen, an outstanding linebacker.
Brian Allen, so quick, plays the whole game, as you said, nickel package and everything, and he bench presses over 500 pounds. Just player after player. What a scout told us, Brett, what, 27 players on this Florida State team are draftable.
That's right.
Drafted 27.
That's amazing.
When I played for the Lions, we didn't have 27 draftable players on our team.
Here's Gillespie. Can he make it? No. And number 6, Mr. Gibson, stuck his helmet in there again. What a game he has played defensively here tonight for Florida State.
This place is going to go nuts if they stop him here.
Oh, 12 seconds to go. 4th and goal, 10 seconds. Grossman's got to hurry up. He's got 5 seconds to try and stick it in the end zone. That's it. He didn't get it off.
He was looking at the play clock instead of the game clock. He made a mistake.
The Florida State Seminoles go to the logo on the center of the field and the tradition here in Tallahassee. And the war chant. And the Bowden Burial Ground claims another victim. It is now 52 games and counting without a loss here in Tallahassee. The longest streak in the nation.
Well, Florida State dominated a pretty good football team here tonight. Not a great Florida team, but a pretty good football team.
That is Florida's worst loss to Florida State since Steve Spurrier became coach. He is now 0-5-1 here in Tallahassee. It is 30-7. It was a rout. And let's go quickly now to Jack Arute.
Well, Chris Weinke, your last game. How about it?
It doesn't get any sweeter than this. To go out like this as a senior, beat these guys 3 years in a row, have the largest crowd ever here, it doesn't get any better than this. This is why I came back.
Would you suffer through some more stomach flu if it meant an outcome like this?
Boy, I tell you what, I'd do it every day if I could have an outcome like this.
Do you think you convinced the Heisman voters to vote tonight?
I hope so. You know, I think it was a good enough performance to show people what I'm made of.
Congratulations.
Thanks, Jack.
Yes, indeed. Weinke's in the finals of that Heisman vote as Florida State wins at 37. ABC Sports is online at ESPN.com. Keyword ABC. College football. For Jack and Gary, I'm Brent. So long. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, continuing the tradition of excellence. Hail the Seminoles.
The big story tonight, the Florida rivalry between the Gators and the Seminoles. As most of you saw, the Seminoles came out victorious. Let's go back out live now to Jay Crawford. Jay, I'm sure there are a lot of disappointed Gator fans there tonight in Tallahassee.
Well, there are a lot of disappointed Gator fans, but it should be noted there are way many more very excited Florida State Seminole fans. After all, this is their home turf. Florida State, of course, the 51-game unbeaten streak here at Doak Campbell Stadium and the 34-game winning streak here. This football team is as dominant as you're going to find in college football, and they proved it today. The big story coming in was that Chris Weinke was sick. He was in a hospital just yesterday fighting symptoms of the flu. If he was sick, he certainly didn't show it in this football game. Here's your highlights from Florida State and Florida. Chris Weinke, well, I'll tell you, he really played like the veteran that he is. The 21-year-old quarterback, first drive of the game at Chiefs Bell. It is 7-0 Seminoles early on. Jesse Palmer came in after Rex Grossman started, and it is a touchdown to Aaron Walker, and the game is tied at 7. Chris Weinke on the slant over the middle to Bell. This is a nice pickup, but really the connection that worked for Florida State and the reason they had such an easy time was Weinke to Snoop. Marvin Minnis with a terrific game. 14-7, Florida State led it to half, and in the second half, they built on that lead. Again, it's Weinke, the same play. Hey, if it works, just keep going to it. Minnis had no problem at all getting behind the Florida secondary. That made it 27-7. Florida had it very close inside the 10 a couple of times in the second half, but Florida State's defense every bit as good as their offense. They deny the Gators a touchdown right there, and you have a final score of 30-7 in favor of the third-ranked Florida State Seminoles. And now the big question is, will Florida State move on top of Miami? And of course, the thinking there is, yes, they will. So we're going to have to wait and see how the BCS rankings come out. I'll throw it back to you guys. Apparently we're having some video problems, but 30-7 again is the final score. If Florida State moves on top of Miami, they will go to the Orange Bowl. Miami a big winner tonight as well. So we're just going to have to wait and see how the computer votes the BCS standings. Much more on the way of highlights. That's coming up a little bit later.
Okay, thanks, Jay. We'll check back with you in just a couple of minutes. Of course, football fans around town were more concerned with the Gator and Noles feud in Tallahassee, obviously. But with all this talk on politics lately, some fans thought all too close to call battles are decided the way this presidential election has been going. 28 Tampa Bay's Nanette Miranda explains.
You can kind of see the confusion. Two sides battling for bragging rights up in Tallahassee. It's up to supporters to win over the undecided fan, like this guy. He's wearing a Seminole in front of his shirt with a Gator in the back.
I came to Florida about 2 years ago. I met a whole bunch of friends here. They're split between Florida State and Florida. They're forcing me to decide tonight.
And there's no more faith in the talents of each team anymore. Some fans think a judge can intervene to declare a winner.
I actually heard that Florida State Supreme Court just came back with a ruling that Bobby Bowden's a little too old to coach, so Florida's going to win tonight. Let's go Gators!
Others are confident the will of the fans will prevail.
The only thing is they're going to have to get somebody from outside of Florida to score it, because I don't think they can count the score right. They're going to have to do a recount. It's going to go overtime.
Oh, the controversial recount.
And there's even talk of the Chad tonight. Sir, what is your name?
Chad?
Are you a hanging Chad or a pregnant Chad?
A pregnant Chad.
Pregnant with what?
Beer.
Back to that undecided fan. He's so undecided
Time to make the decision.
that he's going to let a coin pick his loyalty. If only the presidential election can end like that. Nanette Miranda, 28 Tampa Bay News.